What up, though? It's your sleepy host here, Mr. Always on 10, and I'd like to welcome you to the Intelligent Idiots podcast. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. Last week, I had a fantastic time recording. A super quick, super short episode, special limited edition. Your boy Spider-Man was there. Yeah, getting this podcast on. But this week, it's like 9:48 p.m., and I gotta be up at 4 something tomorrow to go to work. And this is gonna take me a minute to yap to y'all, so y'all can listen to me tomorrow. I keep doing this to myself. Like, I get 1 week of reprieve and I'm just like, oh, let me get right back to it. Man, that's me. That's my own fault. Yo, this week's theme is a part tour. Because I am not as prepared as I should have been, I'm pulling from the depths of my pre-planned episodes. This is Entitlement Part 2, baby. I have quite a few things that I've been planning out in advance that are not in order based upon the stuff that I actually want to do. This week's episode should have been something about legal drama, but that's still pending. That's still pending. So we're going back to a classic, one of our earliest episodes, and it's a part tour. Tour? Tour. Not tour. Tour. Part tour. It still sounds the same. Let's vibe out. We're over in r/entitled parents with a post by Paperweight Fairy. My family is pressuring me to give my 23-year-old female sister my 28 female wedding venue because she needs it more and is pregnant. Now, this puppy right here is a re-upload plus multiple updates because a certain individual being talked about in this story got OP's story taken down everywhere. So we have multiple parts before we can even get to the comments. So, part 1. My fiance and I have been together for 8 years and engaged for 3. I was doing my PhD program and was juggling planning the wedding. My fiance took much of that work, but it was perfect because our dream venue was booked till after my graduation. So what we did is book our dream venue 3 years in advance. It is a really beautiful venue. The only slot that we got was September of this year. My sister got engaged a few months ago to her fiance. They were planning on having a spring wedding next year. They had no venue lined up, but had a few vendors lined up as well as a date set. Yesterday, our parents invited us and our significant others to a family barbecue where my sister announced to our extended family that she is expecting. Everyone was so happy for her and my brother-in-law, who was a great guy, by the way. My nan asked my sister if the wedding she was planning was still set for the date or if they were going to wait. Because of the baby, she said no, that she hoped to move it to September. We don't have many out-of-town guests, so they could attend both weddings. No problem. Nan was happy and asked sister if she needed help planning such a short notice wedding. My sister then turns around and said, that's what I want to talk to you about. I was really hoping we could kind of take your venue. I really cannot stress myself too much with planning a wedding while going to maternity classes, and I think it's so beautiful. It will really mean a lot to me. It went silent, but everyone was looking at me and expecting me to say, yes, of course. Anything for my little sister. My brother-in-law looked very uncomfortable and told her that they had talked about this and that it was not okay for her to put me on the spot. But my sister just said, don't be like that. My sister wants to do what's best for me, so it's no big deal, right? I just said, well, it kind of is. I don't know. I have my heart really set on the venue. Cue the crying. She stormed off. Nan told me that I was being selfish because she needed the venue more than I did. you're going to live in a home. I'm putting you in a home right after this. Shoving you right into a home. I tried to defend myself, and my mother said, you waited 3 years. Would it have killed you to wait a few more months? When has your sister ever asked you for something? A few comments later, my fiance got really mad and we left. My sister called me crying and said it was unfair that I always get what I want and that I could have done this one thing for her. Dad said it is just a venue and what matters is the person who you are marrying. He is kind of right, but we have been planning it for so long. My fiance is furious with my family and doesn't even want my sister to come. Now my family is threatening not to come because I am being selfish and my sister needs it more than me because having a baby is too stressful. Yeah. And me as the fiance, I'm like counting down internally and probably externally, like mentally and physically. Once I get to a certain point, I'm grabbing people by their domes and I'm throwing them around the backyard. Just crazy time. I'm thumping sister-in-law in the stomach. You ain't gotta worry about being pregnant no more. Thumping. Just a middle finger. Fuck you. Part 2. My brother-in-law called me and apologized for the inconvenience. He told me he had discussed it with my sister and she had told him she would not ask. He is properly mad with her now and warned me that my sister is blaming me for potentially ruining her marriage. Yo, you were supposed to get married next year. My father has sent me about 5 texts along the lines of, I hope you are happy. Your sister hasn't stopped crying since yesterday. And so on and so on. My fiance and I have decided to boot my sister from the bridal party and replace her with my aunt, who is the only family member that took my side. We have not decided whether or not we will invite my family as a whole. Furthermore, my mom took it upon herself to tell on us. She called fiance's parents and told them that it would be best if my sister gets it because she is pregnant and preeclampsia runs in the family. Whatever that means. My future father-in-law told them to fuck off and basically ripped my mom a new one for expecting something so ridiculous and that they were going to lose me if they kept playing favorites. So my mom is now crying too and saying that my father-in-law is an ass. This is just getting so pathetic. It seems straight out of a bad soap opera. My in-laws are driving us currently with some supper and wine and basically told me not to worry and that no matter what happens, they will be my safety net. I cried of happiness. Yo, everyone needs to get cussed out. And this father-in-law, he deserves like a mani-pedi day, like a spa day. Part 3. So it hasn't been that long, but this post blew the hell up. I was expecting only a few answers, but the support was overwhelming. What boggled my mind is that the story flooded over to mainstream media. But let's get to the story. So this went viral and a lot happened. My sister saw this story while browsing on her Reddit account. She lost her mind. She accused me of painting her like a loony and misrepresenting facts. Info. My sister got wind of the situation due to various media outlets, and of course she went on Reddit. She said that I was being unfair, that she is family, and that she asked it nicely because she loves me. She also underlines the fact that the opinion of internet strangers doesn't count because family is more important and I should focus on making my family happy. The only text I sent back was this: I am sorry that you perceived it that way. I did not in any matter distort what happened. As you might notice, I didn't describe your tone nor exaggerate anything. Perhaps you have that night different in your mind than I do, but I digress. I am sick and tired to bending to your will. My whole life I have been your servant and your doormat. Remember all the birthdays I had to share with you because you would throw a tantrum because you didn't get presents? or when you cried so that I would fill out job applications for you. But the thing that has hurt me the most till now is when you ruined my graduation. I am done. I admit that I also spoiled you, but I will not any longer. If you want to marry so bad before your baby is born, then you could look at Hotel X that offers last minute weddings. I've spent too much time planning my wedding to gift it to you. And if you want to ruin our relationship over this, then go ahead. I will sleep sound and safe knowing that it wasn't my fault. She only sent me a wow. You must have loved me so very much. Back, and she blocked me. She unblocked me this morning to send me this text thread. Wedding planner. Hello, dear. I got the message from your mother and will proceed with the rebooking of the venue on the spot. However, this will have extra costs as we have to change the names on the contract. Please come by my office tomorrow so we can sign the new contract. Sister, that's great. I'll be there at 9. Yo, this devious bitch. She out here texting other motherfuckers wedding planners. I hope it's a setup. I hope she comes through and just rocks her shit. What you trying to do? No. My parents haven't actually written me since the thing with my father-in-law. My older brother. Yes, I have an older brother, but he lives in another city and wasn't at the barbecue. That's why I didn't mention him. Plus, he initially could not come to the wedding because of work and changed his plans after hearing about the entire story. My brother contacted me and wanted to know what happened because he had a weird story from my mom and dad. My mom had told him that I offered, previous to the barbecue, to give up the venue to my sister and that I humiliated her. I told him what really happened and he had no problem believing me. We talked a lot about our parents' behavior and he confessed that him moving was partly due to our parents being, and I quote, shitheads to us. He told me that mom had gotten wind from the post and was mad at me for betraying my family. I haven't written my parents what so many of you advised me because I have to come to terms with the fact that they love my sister more than me, if they love me at all. We sat together and put passwords with the majority of our vendors and also with the venue directly. We didn't talk to our planner yet, which is why the text of my sister worries me so much. Also, we canceled the catering that my parents paid for, so short term, we won't be getting the full catering like we wanted to, but all of our friends and fiance's family will help us prepare a buffet, and everyone is going to chip in. This is so sweet but so sad. That will be our bachelor party, as we will have to spend more on our food now. We canceled our bachelor parties and we'll have a family and friends cooking session. Thank you again for helping me see how toxic my family is. I will try to sort it out. If they apologize from the bottom of their heart, they will be allowed into my wedding. But if not, then, well, I still have my brother who will be walking me down the aisle and my aunt. Yo, shout out to those two. Shout out to those two. The way I'm pulling up, bailing out the truck, and crashing out everybody. Part 4. We called my planner, and she was actually really horrified. She told me she never had as much as talked to my mother since the day we went to book the venue. What? She told me she never had as much as talked to my mother since the way you talk. You are not American. So she didn't talk to the mom at all? She assured me that even if they were to call and say that I wanted it, I had to be present to make any changes. So we informed everyone that will work for us on our wedding, and they offered to hire security for that day at a reduced price. Yo, shout out to the security company, yo. Shout out to them. Top comment, because we're officially done with this first post, because there's more. There are more updates. There's a part 5, a part 6, a part 7, a part 8, a part 22. I'm lying to you. Let me stop. Feel like being a jerk. They got 7K upvotes. I wish I could give them another one just for this username. I still find it hilariously, sadly ironic that your dad says the venue doesn't matter, but what matters is who you are marrying. If he believed this, then he would be saying that to your spoiled brat sister, not you. Mazel tov on the upcoming wedding. I hope, despite the family drama, you are able to enjoy your big day. And Jen the Warlock replies, yeah, I was going to comment this as well. They're all being ridiculous, but our dad's comments took the win in my opinion. And yeah, he's not a bright guy. He's not realizing the words that's coming out his mouth. He doesn't get it. He's not a bright guy. A cookie dough junkie drops a paragraph. Is this a good one? It's the golden child complex. My mother had it for my little brother. Shat on my sister. Really shat on me to spoil that turd who do nothing but make her life miserable. But somehow, she always found a way to blame what he did on mostly me. And sometimes my sister. She bought him a car. Well, 2 now. And when he wrecked the first one, drinking and driving, also was high off his ass at 16. She just said he must have been so stressed putting up with me. My brother and I didn't talk at all at the time. So the only thing on my mind was, remember when you kept accusing me of being drunk and a drug addict despite never touching either? Yeah, this is clearly a double standard. She just paid for his new car, a lawyer to get him out of trouble, and then wanted me to help pay for his legal expenses. She's a lot like this family in the post. Poor baby can do no wrong. The funny part is she always talked about how her mother did the same with one of her brothers. She had 4 brothers, 1 sister. Jimmy was the spoiled golden child. Even got to the point where he was dealing drugs, breaking into people's houses, and then killed the guy. Her parents sold some of their property to pay for the lawyers to keep him out of jail so many times, and then to reduce his murder charge to an accessory to kidnapping somehow. And yet, she doesn't see that she's doing the same thing she complained about her parents doing with my brother. What the fuck? I'm actually confused. I don't understand. This was like a really good comment to read, but my brain's a little broken. I hope I never end up like this. Ooh. Because you can't even see what you're doing. Like, you're saying things that are so contradictory. Your actions, your behaviors, the way you're treating people around you. You're truly blind to your hand is in front of your face and you're about to hit yourself, but you're truly blind to it. But it's you hitting yourself. Does that make sense? I'm a little delirious, a little sleepy. I'm a little sleepy guy, you know? Oh my God, how are there so many comments from OP now? What just happened? Did everything load? It went from 4 comments to 16. It's crazy. The Donger needs food. Drops a comment. The OP replies to. So your sister really tried to trick you into believing that she had contacted your wedding planner and that the planner had agreed to transfer the wedding to your sister? I'm sorry, but this is straight pathological psychosis. Has your sister ever had a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder or narcissistic personality disorder? Because what you are describing are the actions of someone who has a serious mental illness. And just to be completely clear, I am not trying to excuse your sister's actions in the slightest. I am merely trying to point out that if true, this goes beyond your sister simply being a spoiled brat. She seems like someone with a genuine mental pathology. And OP replies, no, not really. She went shortly into counseling at school because she bit a girl. Victoria BK drops a comment in reply. So, according to a doctor, she's not crazy, just an asshole. Got it. What the fuck am I reading? She bit somebody? She bit a kid? King Victorian drops a comment I didn't even think of. If you don't mind answering, what did your sister do to ruin your graduation? And OP replies, short version, she threw a fit because she didn't get in her master program. She had a mental breakdown while my fiance was giving a speech for my accomplishments and started crying and screaming, and my dad basically had to leave with her. On the way out, my sister stopped crying for a bit, only to start again maniacally crying when she saw my cake and smashed her fist into it. I shouldn't have read this story. What I said earlier, I'm like compiling different episode themes that don't like already fit what I have planned for the future. It's just like, ooh, I immediately thought of a title and a theme for an episode while reading this one random story as I'm looking to fit next week's episode. Ooh, let me save this. Ooh, this fits. Ooh, this fits. Ooh, this fits. This should have gone into the theme of they need to be punched in the face. I'm crafting the episode slowly but surely. They need to be punched in the face. This right here, it's no way in fuck I'm having my graduation. What was this for? Either OP's this because OP is 2 years older than her sister. Yeah, so OP would have been finishing up her master's here. Yes. She would have been finishing up her damn master's here because her little sister didn't get into the master's program and decided to smash her fist into my cake. This is my graduation party. You throwing hands with me. Your hands are slipping off my face because it's my cake on your hands. We running the fade from the living room to the front door, out the front door, onto the porch, to the grass. We're rolling around in the grass. I'm breaking limbs. You got me fucked up. Let me read another comment. The other person had it down right. They are definitely mentally ill. Definitely mentally ill. Oof. I don't even want to read any more comments. We're going on to the update. I hope this time this doesn't get removed, or at least give me some reason. Damn it, mods. Does that make sense to y'all? It does to me. I can understand. I can see it. They've been reporting her shit. Because when I try to find these updates in these original posts, so I can make sure to have the comments, I'll just see a bunch of deleted, removed by moderator, removed. You can already put two and two together why her posts were removed, but the ones that went crazy stayed. The ones that went viral stayed. A few days have passed, and we luckily have sorted many things out. Passwords are set with the vendors. Security has been hired. Recipes for family and friends cookout have been chosen, and I will start therapy soon. Yeah, your sister should have started years ago. Sadly, some upsetting things have happened as well. My sister, of course, is brigading against me on Facebook, making constant passive-aggressive remarks, saying that I made her depressed, etc. I've received many messages from her friends saying that I'm a bitch for treating her that way. I won't mention what happened to brother-in-law. He wants to tell his story once he is ready. If anybody can find a story by him, let me know. I blocked every attempt at online harassment and my sister as well. But 2 days ago, my sister's best friends egged my car. I called the police, and my neighbor, whose hobby is to look outside the window and spy on people, identified those two specifically. She is a grumpy lady, but actually very lovely once you get to know her. Now, to the part that has me fuming. They fucked your car up and this didn't have you mad? After not talking to my parents in several days, they called and asked if we could talk things out. I was wary, but agreed to meeting them with my fiance in our apartment. When they arrived, you could tell my mom had been crying, and I honestly felt bad for 10 whole minutes. Many of you guys said that they probably played favorites to avoid my sister's meltdowns, or that she might have been diagnosed with something, and that's why they baby her. Well, no. Turns out my sister is, like many of you suspected, just an asshole. No medical history, no diagnosis, nothing. We started chit-chatting awkwardly, then we began talking about the matter. My father first asked us why we canceled the caterers, to which my fiance responded that we didn't want to have anything they could hold over our heads. Insert surprise Pikachu face from both of them. Dad acted offended and said he would never, so to that which I said, better safe than sorry. My mother continued with calling me disrespectful for talking to them in that manner. I called them disrespectful for all they had said and done over the last few days. We got in a heated argument about the venue again, to which my father repeated it doesn't matter where you get married, but the person you are marrying. Bullshit. And finally, I gave him the comeback so many of you guys wanted me to give. Yes, Dad, exactly. But isn't it weird how that only applies to me and not my sister? As long as she is marrying brother-in-law, it doesn't matter where, right? It was dead quiet, and my father was red like a tomato and gasping for air like a fish on land. My mother was quietly crying again, and So I said, well, I am waiting for your reasoning. My father slapped his hands on the table and went on a rant about family and sacrifices and how a loving family should do what's in their power to make each other happy. I just responded, like how you tried to make me happy on my graduation day? You know, when my sister smashed my cake because she wasn't in the limelight? Quiet again. My mother quietly said, why do you hate us so much? And I looked at her and said, I can ask you guys the same thing. Yo, ooh, sometimes it helps to talk to people. They can help you out with some of the best comebacks. Oof. Again, nothing. My parents knew that they had fucked up, but they were not ready to admit it. My mother tried to guilt trip me, saying that my sister is miserable, that she hasn't gone out in days because people judge her so much. My father went on a tangent on how my little sister just needs more time and attention because she is the youngest, etc., etc. So basically excusing her behavior. I told them that I felt hurt because I now saw their blatant favoritism, that they didn't even try to conceal the fact that they loved my sister more. My mother tried to say, that's not true. We love you all the same. I wasn't having it. I opened a list I had written on my phone where I had written every point I could remember about them putting my sister before me. It was a very long list. Some had dates to it. Some were more specific situations. When I was finished, my parents were horrified, beet red, and near tears. They wanted to start explaining again how I was wrong, but I said that this conversation was leading to nowhere. They either set family counseling up for us and apologized to me, or they won't be invited to the wedding. They left and haven't called since. Ain't shit ass people, man. I mean, it's a good thing that like 2 out of 3 kids have broken the cycle based upon what we've read and heard so far. But excuses are the tools of the incompetent. They build bridges that lead to nowhere and monuments of nothingness. And that is a Barack Obese quote. He said that to a graduating class of Morehouse. Oh my God, has it been decades at this point? No, it's just been a decade and some change. Oof. I guess you can call it decades since it's technically more than one, but That implies 2+, that implies 20+ years. And that's just a no. Top comment. What the fuck, Maz? If she tries to post and you remove it immediately, at least tell us and her what rule you think she is violating. And Ahmad replies to Shitzu Skeeto, which was the top poster. That's a horrible username. And Krausley is also a horrible username. We didn't remove it. If it was down temporarily, that's because it was heavily reported. Then a mod goes to check it, and that mod puts it back up. Ooh, and Kitty M. Bunny drops a comment, oh my God, why are there so many paragraphs? Yeah, I'm not reading that. We can infer, we can absolutely infer that OP's sister has decided to come in and mass report her posts that were everywhere, going insanely viral when this was originally posted, to get this information pulled from the internet. What kind of mental illness do you guys think she has? I'm so curious. Do you think it's narcissistic personality disorder? Do you think she always had it as a kid? Or maybe it was kind of like socialized and bred into her as a child since she was favorited as the youngest? Do you think that could have been trained out of her? Not. We got a comment by Finding Whimsy. Nope, we're not going to read that comment either. Nope. Spoilers. We're going to the update. The final update. Finally, I get around to writing an update. I am sorry that it took so long, but I have a few updates to my life. I guess, however, that you guys are mainly here to see how my wedding played out and the aftermath with my family. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot you was getting married. This entire time, I kind of just wanted you to run the fade with your whole family. You just run the gauntlet. You beat the brakes off everybody until you get to the final boss, which is your sister, being on a triple team with your parents, right? You start off fighting like your youngest 5-year-old cousin. That's what you do. Let me stop. After I last spoke to my parents, they did not let go of their position. I was the bad guy. I was responsible for my sister's depression and her failing relationship. It went so far that I had to block them and change my number as they were contacting me from relatives' phones and so on. It was a real bummer, especially during a time that should be so special. I was harassed by my sister and her entourage on Facebook and Instagram, so I simply deleted it. It was a mentally draining time, but my husband's family and friends and my brother helped me get through it. I had basically cut off every family member that had given me shit for keeping my wedding dates. My nan came to my door a few days before the wedding, begging to let her come. I had a long talk with Nan, and she ended up apologizing, even though she still failed to see the logic in switching the weddings. But she did not want to pressure me and wanted to be there for me. We hugged it out, but our relationship is not back to normal yet. It never will be. Hey, if you're old, I want you to truly grasp this, as I'm coming to understand it. You can't teach old people, and you can't get them out of their position. That's why this country's fucked up the way it is. So while you're young, really lock it into your mind to be an open person and to always be consistently trying to gain and learn new knowledge. And then when you learn something new, it can move you in your position on how you feel in certain things in life, right? You shouldn't just be locked in at 20, 30, 40, and then you don't fucking change after that, because the logical thought train is simple. I'm getting married. I paid for all this shit in advance. 3 years out, I planned this shit. Now my wedding is coming up in just a couple months. My sister, who got nutted in, is not special and does not get to have my wedding day. She should just keep her date. Maybe even push it out so she can be in the best shape she might want to be in, so she can love how she looks in her wedding and her wedding photos, and save up the same way I did. It's broke bitch shit. I'm over here trying to be a doctor. Oh, they have a 5-year age gap. I'm seeing this 5-year age gap. Now I'm so curious. Hold on. Was her graduation where she got her cake slammed into? Was was she graduating, becoming a doctor? I would go insane. What was I just saying? I would lose my shit if I just got my fucking PhD and my bitch little sister decided to slam her fucking fist into my cake. I would light a candle and shove it in her fucking mouth. Let me keep reading. Let me keep reading. I'm gonna never get monetized like this. I'm sorry, you guys. Where were we at here? Let's see. The bachelor party was amazing. We were cooking until dawn, and everything turned out to be delicious. My husband made a beautiful 3-layered cake. And we move on to the wedding day. The morning was really good and relaxing. My bridesmaids and I got ready. We drank some Prosecco and made pictures. My dress fit perfectly, and I just looked gorgeous. But then came time to leave for the ceremony. We were at the venue making the before pictures with my friends when I saw the little car of my sister approaching the venue. Admittedly, I was shitting my pants. Or, well, my dress. One of my friends runs to the venue to get some of the security people that we hired. I really didn't want another Hulk smash moment at my wedding. She had been angry crying as soon as she saw me. She started screaming obscenities. Apparently, I am a filthy bitch that made her fiance break up with her. Yeah. I hike the wedding dress up, take off the heels, and run a fade with your sister right there. Right there. Hey, let me kiss my husband. Y'all, you go ahead, sign a certificate. I'll be back. We starting the ceremony right now. This is going to be the ceremony that people are going to continue for generations. You run the fade with your most undesirable family member. You beat the brakes off of them. This is how you solidify and you consummate a marriage from now on. You beat the brakes off of your family members. Oh my God. Apparently, I am a filthy bitch that made her fiance break up with her. She was like possessed. And at that moment, I couldn't help but feel pity for her. A thing to explain is that in the mornings, the plants are always watered at the venue by some of these sprinkler systems. Thus, the earth was a bit muddy. The next thing happened really fast. My sister bent down to take mud up into her hands and was getting ready to throw it at me. And my dress, when my maid of honor sprinted towards her and pushed her so that she fell with her butt into the flowers. The security guard arrived seconds later and removed her. And with that, I had enough ammunition for a restraining order against her. I didn't even want to file a police report at this point. I just wanted her to stay away from me. The rest of the day was just amazing. I married my best friend, the love of my life, and just my rock. My brother walked me down the altar, and we all cried at the vows. It was just spectacular. Of course, I miss my parents, but it is what it is. Fuck them. Hope he didn't say that. That's coming from me. Fuck them. The celebration was very funny. My husband had studied a choreography to a Taylor Swift song with his groomsmen, and the speeches could have been from a stand-up club. We left our honeymoon, and when we came back, I decided to start looking for jobs in a different city. I didn't want to lose my friends, but I just felt like I needed a clean break. I got a new job at a university in a bigger city, and we are currently in the process of moving. Yo, get that money. Get that money, professor. Professor, doctor, professor, Dr. Noon. No, let me stop. But maybe the biggest change and also the most cliche thing is that I am pregnant. It is a classic honeymoon baby. Yo, he was getting young. Yeah. We haven't really told anybody now in fear of something happening. So you nice people at Reddit are the first ones to know besides my husband and me. Oh, thank you. I am so excited that I am tearing up just writing this. This was not something we planned for a few years, but we are ecstatic regardless. I have only heard through people in town about the rest of my family. My sister's still going around telling people that I was the reason brother-in-law broke up with her and that I was trying to dox her or some shit like that. She has moved in with my parents again and refuses to work. Nan told me the last time she saw my parents, they looked exhausted because my sister was behaving like a baby. I guess their parenting is catching up with them. I can only say that I am really happy right now. It hurts having lost my family, but at the end of the day, cutting out toxic people is the best thing I could do. I now have a husband and a honeymoon baby on the way. My very own family. Oh, and a shiny backbone. Thank you, Reddit, for reassuring me that I indeed was not being selfish, that my family was not in the right. Thank you so much for just writing your comments supporting me. I even took up therapy, but I have to say, I am really enjoying life. Thank you for everything. I wasn't here when you wrote this, but you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm on your side. You're welcome. Oh, man. Ooh, I'm a sleepy guy. Oh. Did I just make y'all yawn? My fault. It's 10:30. I've been reading this story for a minute. For a minute. Minute. We're coming in with the fit check, baby, with the immediate fit check. I know it's a brand new day, but that movie is spectacular. So we spin it right back. We spin it right back. Shout out to Hawkins, right? It was Spider-Man last week. Obviously, Stranger Things this week. Shout out to Gene. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, if you understand what I'm talking about, you understand the spoilers. I'm not going to do too much, but this is the fit check of the day. So since I died yesterday and I'm spinning back today, and you guys are getting the story split up in half, unless you're listening via your own particular podcast services, those for YouTube who are now seeing this in its totality. Today is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. But for me, it's Monday. So I had to come back in the same exact fit to keep everything kosher, to keep everything the same, to keep everything how it should be for you beautiful, wonderful people. And I got the energy now. We can vibe out. I got the energy now. Ooh, come on. Come on. I feel it. I love it. I want it. Is this perfect? Does it even matter? It kind of does a little bit. All right. We're over in Am I the Asshole with an H with a post by OK Record 2903. Am I the asshole for telling my neighbor I have no desire or obligation to babysit her children because I am a stay-at-home mom? I'm new to my area, and I have made friends with a few neighbors through a Mommy and Me group chat. I've been in the group now a little over a month, and I have a 9-week-old. I have a neighbor who was in the group, and she asked me last week in an emergency if I could watch her 3 and 5-year-old. She looked so desperate, and so I agreed. I was like, well, it's just once. I am a full-time stay-at-home mom and enjoy all my time with my little one. That day, I watched her children, and it was hectic as hell. My daughter was fussy, and those children were very rambunctious, to say the least. I was happy when she came and got them 6 hours later. 6 hours. She came to me today and saying she needed me to watch the kids in the afternoons. I told her no. I'm not a full-time babysitter, and I have no desire to take that much time away from my own child and navigating life with my child and husband. Her response was, well, it's not like I'm asking a lot. It's just the afternoons. I said it may not be a lot to her, but it is a lot to me. My husband works from home, and he needs the house quiet to work. And I'm a new mom, and I'm not interested in taking on any other responsibilities other than what I have right now. She told me I was selfish. I told her she was entitled to think that I should help her just because I'm at home with my little one. Am I the asshole for being so forward? Fuck no. Bro, I barely know you. Why are you trying to pawn your kids off onto me on the afternoons? And you met me online. Monday through Friday, maybe Saturday and Sunday, you want to drop your kids off? You don't know me. I could be a psychopath. This could be a kid I kidnapped from the hospital. I'm living out my fantasy dreams of being a stay-at-home mom with my husband, who is also crazy. He could be on a registry. You know nothing about me. I don't know what you got going on that you need to pawn off your kids, but get that 3 and that 5-year-old. Well, this is the afternoons. I can't even say get them into pre-K and kindergarten because shit is the afternoons. You pop them out, you got to take care of them. Popped them out, I'm sweating. Whew. You popped it, you sweating, you got to wipe it off. You got to deal with it yourself. What's wrong with me, dog? Oh my God. Yo, this episode's theme is entitlement, as you can see, right? Let's read the top comment. By Training Fox 2475. Hell no, not the asshole. It really gets me anymore. What are you saying right here, Training Fox? It really gets me anymore how many of these selfish people in the world make a mark on someone just because they see something that they can get from them and just expect it. What were you trying to say? Oh, it really gets me annoyed. The autocorrect caught the fuck out of you. But you got 7.1K upvotes. When they don't get what they want, they always throw out the selfish label and throw a tantrum. What the hell is wrong with people like this? And enough people replied with comments that were pretty sure very spicy because they all got removed by the moderator. They all got removed by the moderator. Yo, I wonder what they were trying to say. I'm so curious now. We got a comment by Stony Juan Kablomi. Why is this your username? Why did I read this out loud? If I catch you out in the streets, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Not the asshole. Must have missed the part where you knocked her up twice. Oh, didn't happen? Then not your problem. And this got them 2.5K upvotes and an award. Honestly, I don't even, I can't grasp it because not only is it like a safety factor thing of not knowing these people whatsoever, because this is not a daycare. This is not a daycare. It is, it makes me wonder what's going on in her life. Like, are your kids that rambunctious that you can't get daycare? Or are you like peddling this? And this is like a consistent thing that you run. You go on the mommy and me chats within your area online on all the apps, and you try to finesse people out of babysitting for free. Oh, it's an emergency. And then since you're getting these new moms and they aren't technically in their right mind, since they're new, right? The hormones are flowing. You're trying to use and abuse them by making them work for free by taking care of your kids so you can do whatever you want to during that time period. I wonder if you were a difficult person and your children were difficult and you can't get any babysitters or you don't have the money. I'm so curious about a lot of things. But this ain't their story. It's OP's. And they're not about to get all this information. They're really not. And Kronga Lasorda drops the comment that I'm thinking. They say not the asshole. And this comment gets them 2.4K upvotes. Everyone knows how expensive childcare is. She's just trying to take advantage of you and guilt trip you into babysitting. But here's the thing. My brain isn't even working right because this is like so baffling. What are you doing that you need your afternoons? I can understand you're with your 3-year-old probably all day, and maybe you can't get them when they're 4 into pre-K, but your 5-year-old should be in school right now. Unless this happened and this took place during the summertime, which I can't see the exact date for the story anymore because of how old it is. I don't understand. And that's one thing. That's one thing. Since we have no information about this person, maybe they're like 23, 24. So they popped their kid out early. They were 18, 19. Even 21, 22, 23, 24 is like early. You lack information on how difficult pregnancy will be and how difficult raising a child will be. And here you are, technically back to back, right? You waited your smooth 6 months, a year, and then you got pregnant again, right? Because you got a 2-year gap. It's 3 and 5. Right, you might have just waited the smooth 6 months, and then your man immediately got up in you again, and now you got a child out of that again. Sex education needs to be expanded upon, and so does a familial education. These need to be like, because like health class is like a requirement in high school, or at least the high school I went to. But you can kind of get out of that because it's health one semester and then it's gym the other semester, and you got to do like I think 2 years of that. You can get out of that if you do ROTC. And my little fat chubby ass in high school got out of that by doing ROTC. I was in that ugly ass little suit, or JROTC, I should say, junior ROTC. So there are things that I definitely could have learned if I had health. I just didn't want to be that sweaty fat kid running during gym and like have that thing like be my tag about me. I can just sit here and sweat. Right, your boy is hefty. So I can just think about how lacking in information that people are as adults because they didn't get it from their parents or in their like surrounding environment. So it's something that should be forced upon them in high school and in college so they can learn the difficulties of being a parent, getting pregnant, after pregnancy, raising a child 0 to 5. Right. And then of course 6 to 18 is relevant, but it should be on the parents at that point to be doing their own research on how to raise kids. There should be like funds coming from the government on education, giving parents books and readings and classes that are either required to take when you're pregnant and that are optional afterwards that are paid for by the government. I think that would be like top tier work. But at the same token, the government may not want that because once people learn, like the girl with the list on TikTok, when they learn about all the difficult things that can happen to you during pregnancy and during childbirth, it's going to turn a lot of women off. They're going to be like, I don't want it. Right. And if they still have the option in the state that they're in, they're going to be like, I'm going to abort it. I don't want to get ripped from my vagina to my taint, which happens to, I think, like 70+% of women. They get torn if they don't get a C-section, which is just like is it King James? One of those British fucking monarchies back in the day. He was a freaky ass weirdo. He wanted to see women give birth, and that's why we have women land on their back with their feet up in the stirrups compared to, I think the old method was kind of like bent over slightly and then squatting so that the baby comes out like naturally how the organs align. I think. Don't quote me, do your own research because I can't even remember the damn king. My brain box. More comments. We got a comment by Bushy Shrew. Nope, I can't read. Busy Shrew. Absolutely not the asshole. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I remember to this day getting advice from another stay-at-home mom. She warned me that I would be a target for many other moms who would look at me as easy babysitting. Yo, is this a thing? The shit you learn online, man. OP, stand absolutely firm. You and your husband are making sacrifices for you to stay home. It's not easy. I get it. I've been there. Friends used to absolutely tut-tut at me because we had no dishwasher, only one car, only one TV, and never took vacations overseas. It was hard, but it was our choice. You did not choose to open a daycare service, so do not feel bad about saying no. Learn to say it without getting drawn into justifications or reasoning with others. Trust me, this won't be the only occasion slash person that will ask. You will have to really be firm and stand your ground. This situation always makes me so mad. Every family is different, and we need to respect each other, not call someone selfish for their choices just because they don't want to accept a no. Ugh. And Busy Shrew leaves a right. That's that sound. And also, congratulations, by the way, on your new baby. Ooh, I remember those days with my daughter very fondly. Shout out to Busy Shrew. And OP replies to this, but let me just piggyback off of that. Just real quick. Remember, words are technically inherently, no, that's the wrong wording. Selfish, the word. We view it as having a negative connotation, right? It is viewed when you call someone selfish as like an insult, as like a hit against their personality or who they are as a person. It's a dig at them. But in reality, if I got shit going on, I'm being selfish with my time. That's not negative on me. I have something that has been deemed by myself in my own life as more important than what you want me to do. People will try to guilt trip you, and that shit is not okay, right? My boy at work, he tried to do that to me today. I was like, bro, you trying to guilt trip me? And he tried to dodge and be like, nah, it's not guilt tripping. And I'm like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I almost really cut into him. Don't do that. And I had to like hold myself back from cutting up into him because he's going through some shit right now. But that boundary needs to be drawn, right? Just because you want me to do something that would benefit you, which is normal in the frame of spending time together, it does not mean that I don't have other shit going on. And if I say no, does that mean that you can push that immediate boundary? No is a sentence. No is a sentence. No is my word. My word is my bond. A good man, a good person is a man, is a person who keeps his word. Simple as that. And that's a quote from my father. So going to OP's comments, their reply to Busy Shrew. I love chilling on the... Girl, what the fuck is this? Google. I love chilling on the Lene. What is this? How much money you got? Is this a outdoor, enclosed, covered patio? What is this? A lanai can refer to a type of covered, open-air porch or veranda originating from Hawaii. Or to... I'm probably really pronouncing this wrong. Hold on, let me see. Pronunciation. No, I guess I wasn't. I might be pronouncing this wrong in their native tongue, but it looks like it is... Lanai. Lanai, not Lanai. Lanai. I was close. Lanai, the sixth largest Hawaiian island, known for its rugged landscapes, luxury resorts, and history as the Pineapple Island. Huh. Yeah, so this is what the AI is telling me. Damn, is that $700, $800 flight from here to there? Well, I guess if it's the sixth biggest island, it's not the top 2 or top 3 that people would be flying in on. So I guess I can understand why it'd be expensive if you wanted to go straight there. Yep, coming straight from Wikipedia. Lanai is a type of roofed open veranda, patio, or porch originating in Hawaii. Many houses, apartment buildings, hotels, and restaurants in Hawaii are built with one or more lanais. In Hawaii, the term describes any sort of outdoor living area adjacent to an interior space, whether roofed or not. This includes apartments and hotel balconies. It may be screened in or not. Okay. Okay. So you can have a front little porch. You can have a front little porch, and that's kind of a lanai. So OP says, getting off track. OP's reply to Busy Strew reads as, I love chilling on the lanai, laying in our hammock. She sleeps so well back here, and I can breastfeed her right there. We just hang out back here most of the day. My neighbor let herself into my backyard, but I didn't get up to open the door to our lanai because my baby was sleeping on me. She got too indignant and was like, you're just sitting here doing nothing. I said, no, I'm feeding and bonding with my child. Don't get jealous that my reality is not yours. Damn, OP, you spicy as shit. Damn. I'm just not reading. I don't read the comments in advance like that unless it's like the first comment. She's spicy. So I might sometimes miss like a premium comment by one of the OPs of a story I read. So I always encourage you, go and read the stories for yourselves, right? Just because you're listening to me doesn't mean that you might not be able to take in something from somebody else, reading it on your own time, right? If you're just passively listening to me, and or maybe there's a comment in here that I did not read that might resonate with you, and you're like, I don't agree with 10. I do not agree with Mr. Always on 10. Or, damn, I wish he read this comment because this right here. Engage with some of this stuff, right? Because I hope that some of these stories that I read might truly help people. Well, let me continue reading this comment. My husband told her she was upsetting the vibe in our home and she should just leave and not ever let herself onto our property again without our express permission. She left, but is telling everyone in our group how selfish we are. I went to the group chat and told her all that I said above, and again, I have no obligation to watch her children because she's a single mom. Oh, so this person is like her immediate neighbor. Maybe they're right on the block. This ain't like mommy and me within the city or the state. This is like mommy and me on the block kind of Facebook group. And shout out to your husband standing on 10 toes though. Right. Even Dandelion Lemon replies to you and they say, wow, I'm so impressed with you and your husband. You both have very strong spines and you're handling this really well. And that's one thing, right? You might think that you might have been a pushover in a situation, but if someone presents themselves as having an emergency, right, the stuff that you have going on, you may see that their emergency is more important. So you may stop what you're doing, put yourself on the back burner, what you got going on, to help out with their emergency. But it's the language that they're using, it's the way that they're finessing the situation, that it is in turn how they end up using and abusing your ass. So you gotta be careful. What's the classic? What's the classic? And an emergency on your part does not constitute an emergency on my end. How does that saying go? Let me see. An emergency on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part. Who's saying is this? I'm so curious. Oh, nope. That's what it is. A quote by Bob Carter. Poor planning on your part does not necessitate an emergency on mine. Yes. Who's Bob Carter, though? Search. Bob Carter. A voice actor or a Montana state representative? Huh. I wonder which Bob Carter this is. We'll say that for later. Let's read some more comments. More comments. Sad Solid 1088 says, tell her sure. $25 an hour for one child and $30 for two kids is how much you usually charge for babysitting. And of course, 5 minutes past the pickup time, you start charging $10 a minute. Ooh. And OP replies, another person said I should charge $50. Lol. Prepaid as well. I mean, honestly, this would make you back the fuck up, right? Because this person is honestly trying to get free babysitting. And it's just not okay, bro. You don't know me. I just moved here. I just popped my baby out. Maybe I even lived on a block for years, and you have as well. And we've said hi and bye in passing. Like we've gone to the same block parties together, but you don't know me, dog. No one's done a background check on me. You haven't done a background check on me. You're just trying to toss your kids off onto me. And that shit is crazy. It's crazy. Ooh. Oh, nope. Here's the comment. Reasonable ad 1836 says, your only mistake here is getting into those groups. They're like vultures for childcare from new parents. I'm glad you stood your ground with her. You're not selfish for prioritizing your own home for the needs of strangers, not the asshole. And OP says, my husband and I are new to the area and I was trying to make some friends. See, that's the thing, man. You're being a stay-at-home mom and you already know that you don't want to enter into like a state of postpartum depression by being locked up in the crib all damn day long with your baby. Even though your husband is there, technically he's not for 8 hours because he's at work, right? Just doing that same monotonous shit over and over again after you done spent 20 years having like variety in your life can like be a drain. So making new friends, having conversations with people who are full grown humans who technically have overlapping interests with you. There's a big part of their lives. They also have brand new babies like you. It just makes sense in tracks. But the fact of the matter that there are nasty, needy people, vultures is the word right here, just trying to prey upon you is ugh. But I'm glad that like OP's like enjoying her life. Her husband's bringing in some good money because they got a Lanai, or how was it pronounced again? Lanai? One more time. Let me grab that. Let me grab that pronunciation. Let me get that pronunciation. Lanai. I keep saying Lanai. Lanai. And I just got to treat it like it's Japanese. Lanai. Lanai. Yeah. I just don't pronounce that I so hard. Let's read one last comment and then get to the edit because I'm a yapper today. That's how you know like it's the daytime because you see the sky, but also I got the energy. And your boy's medicated. I took my meds today. I took my meds. If y'all didn't know, I'm oversharing. I got ADHD, so I take meds for that. And sometimes I like super zone in after taking the meds. I'm like the best version of myself. But that leads to me being like a yapper who needs to drink a lot of water. Stanley, sponsor me. I normally drink in between stories, so y'all hear me just slurping it up and fucking in between comments. Chalker, C.A. Chalker drops a comment, and this is the last one that OP replies to. Not the asshole. It's incredibly limiting to take on the task of watching someone else's children on a regular basis. It means you can't take your growing child to do anything without hauling those kids with you. Checkups for your newborn? Can't schedule for afternoons. Impromptu visit to a park? Not happening. Play date with a different friend? They may not want two older kids tagging along. Trip to visit family? Gotta work around her schedule. Family wants to come for a visit. Oops, can't do anything fun during the afternoons. There's the fact that your newborn isn't immunized yet. It's one thing when it's your own kids around your newborn. You have a reasonable amount of control over where they've been. A 5 and 3-year-old that you'd only be seeing in the afternoons? Nope. That's a risk I wouldn't be wanting to take. Not right now with diseases like measles making a comeback. Yo, this is the comment. I said you got to read the comments. The added element of your husband working from home, it just makes this more untenable. Even the best behaved children can make a lot of noise when they're that young. This is your family's livelihood. Asking you to jeopardize that isn't a reasonable ask. Yes, I get that your newborn will become a noisy toddler, but that's something you and your husband will figure out together. He shouldn't be expected to suddenly tread water in the deep end to accommodate a neighbor. Did she even offer any compensation? If not, that's a whole other level of entitlement. No, your responsibility is to your family first and doing what you think is best for them. See, this is the thing. I think it's like between 3 and 5 when a child's immune system is like 80% of the way there. And then the last 20% like just takes place. It just, you're being introduced to things and it's doing this thing, right? Definitely look it up. Look it up. Don't take my word for bond when it comes to maths and sciences and histories. Look this shit up. All right. Especially because me have no kid. But you're in the first 6 months, you're getting a large amount of shots, a large amount of immunizations, and the baby is breastfeeding from the mother and getting its immune system through that breast milk right there. Its immune system is coming through the mother, through the milk, and that is how the baby is being protected through any illnesses that they may come in contact with. So since the mother has a full, well-developed immune system, the baby is getting like supreme protection. But of course, you need shots for other things because not everything's going to come through, right? If everything came through the titties, that's how babies would come out, right? It would be one-stop shop. The babies will come straight out the titty and be full born, right? It's not 0 to 18 and just coming out, boop, 25 years old, full brain development, right? It's like a little fawn coming out, and within a couple minutes to a couple hours, it's standing and able to run around. What's wrong with me? Yeah, so introducing children that you don't know where they've been, a 5-year-old who's going to a school that with other kids are touching, licking, engaging with, rolling around. There's so much bacteria, dog. I didn't even think of that. Let me read OP's reply, because this is like OP's last comment. No, she didn't offer any compensation. I didn't think that was a big deal because I had no intentions of watching her children. I do get that. That is super entitled of her. The more I think about it, this is a very affluent area, so it's not like she can't afford childcare. There is no way she could live here and drive what she drives and do the things she does without being able to afford it. I think she was just being cheap and thought she could bully me into saying yes. I am not that chic. I cannot be moved, shaken, or stirred. All right. Dog. And C.A. Chalker replies to OP, man. I got that from your responses. Good for you. Sounds like you're determined to prioritize your time with your newborn and enjoy it. And from some of what you shared in other responses, she sounds incredibly entitled. Someone who's going to take 10 miles if you get an inch. I suspect she's used up all the grace others have been willing to give to her, and you were the next target. It's awesome that what she met was your adamantium spine. You go, mommy. Enjoy your precious one. It passes quicker than you think. This right here, man. This right here. Let's read the edit. So she went on the group chat trying to disparage me and saying I'm selfish, blah, blah, blah. One of the moms asked her why she felt I had a responsibility as a stay-at-home mom to watch her children. Then another mom confessed and reminded her in the group chat that she tried that with her and was told that the stay-at-home moms in the group are not her babysitters and she needs to make arrangements for childcare independent of the group. She attempted to double down, then the moderator / creator of the group told her it might be best if she found another mom group to socialize with. She then backtracked and apologized. I was separately contacted by the moderator and told that if she contacts me or another mom for this reason again, she will be expelled from the group. I want to thank all of you for your support and understanding my concerns. I'm navigating this and trying to figure out this new life. A year ago, I was a college student hanging out with my fiance, now husband, and now I'm a mom and a wife in a new part of the country. So it's a lot of adjusting. Thank you for your help. Oh, man. This makes me so curious about what's going on with this woman and what's going on in OP's life. But that's the end of the story right there. Now, we're technically in two places at once. We're over in r/best Redditor updates with a post by Direct Caterpillar 77, and they have snatched and grabbed an original post that was over in r/entitled people, where the OP is ADHDGF. So we got to maneuver our way through this reshare on Best Redditor updates, and then go grab the comments and grab the updates back on the original page for ADHDGF. Oh, ADHDGF. Oh, ADHD girlfriend. That's what this is. That's the username. My brain was trying to ignore me. Ignore me. Friend's entitled girlfriend thinks she gets a special treatment because she's vegan. Right. We're bouncing back and forth because this post is unfortunately pending approval by the moderator. All right. Somebody must have reported this. I'm organizing my graduation party and I contacted a restaurant to have my dinner with my family and friends. One of my friends is bringing his girlfriend too, which is not a problem, but she's a handful. She's vegan, but eats seafood because fish don't know they exist, and I'm no one to judge someone's choices. But I'm pretty sure that's not the definition of vegan, but that's another story. I inform my guests that the restaurant will accommodate any food restrictions, which include my vegan guests and another friend who has celiac disease. This entitled girl replied that everyone should accommodate her dietary restrictions and eat the seitan-based plate she wanted to order, which is made of gluten, the protein you can't have if you have celiac, you know? I told her that she will be able to eat whatever she wants, but that will apply to other people with different diets, especially the one who can't have seitan. Her reply was that my friend with celiac shouldn't be accommodated because she's just being a spoiled baby and not saving the planet like she is by eating vegan. I respect vegan people very much, and it's a great choice for many different reasons, but telling someone that it's better to destroy their intestines than eating a non-vegan meal is not it. I know we're not on Am I the Asshole, but you shouldn't even have invited this person. I would have not invited her boyfriend, who's my friend, just because I have to deal with this person. All my friends in my life, and maybe I'm weird, but all the friends I've had in my life. Wait, let me make sure. I've never had their girlfriends or their wives' phone numbers. I've never texted them, never talked to them, outside of being friends on Facebook or Instagram. Wait, nope, that's a lie. That's a lie. Victorino, if you watch, yeah, I have your girlfriend's phone number, but that's when she's setting up a yearly Friendsgiving. I would be like kind of enraged. And here I am talking like you're listening and we're here right now together. I would be enraged if she texted me on a regular like, nah, that's not cool. That's not it. Nah, that's not it. We can't do that restaurant because everyone won't eat what I'm trying to eat. What the fuck? So there's two things that I'm like hyper annoyed about, right? And maybe three. She's a fake vegan because she's eating fish. Maybe four. all living creatures with a nervous system feel pain. So when they get killed, they get killed. You have to have a very deep belief in your own personal religion to even have a concept of a soul, to imagine that you, as another animal, another creature, has a soul and other animals don't. So maybe that's why you may not feel bad. Any like bland thought process is just stupid on your end of things. 3, celiac. So maybe you were on that side of TikTok, maybe you weren't. A couple months ago, there were some videos going around where I came to get the understanding that people have a gluten allergy, right? And then that there is celiac disease. I was already under an understanding of that because one of my family members deals with that issue, where they are gluten intolerant and they can't have gluten in anything. And there's a gluten in everything. So that ruins a lot of shit for them. So in turn, I came to understand that a lot of people view that as like bullshit. They view that as like fad food fashion. Like it's a trendy food thing to do. If you don't eat anything with gluten in it, you're technically on like a low calorie diet. So you just get to eat like fucking salad with no croutons kind of thing. So there are like waiters and waitresses who are like, I'll give you shit with gluten in it anyway, or I won't tell you that something has gluten in it. Like they don't respect them. And then their family members are like, that's not a real thing because there wasn't enough research done within the past however many years that hit the mainstream, for people to grasp and have an understanding that it's a real disease and a real issue. I think enough people via like talk shows and radio shows have treated it in such a way that family members do not take it seriously. Like some other illnesses, right? Just like how mental illness gets treated in some communities to this day. That's not a real thing. People are just incredibly ignorant. So I learned that people view celiac disease like that, which is like crazy. But the last thing is you're not saving the fucking world by, of course, eating fish. You're eating farm-raised fish. But by eating fruits and veggies, and entire ecosystems have to get uprooted and destroyed by several tens of acres to accommodate farmland. And even if you're just doing something in your back fucking yard, you're removing, destroying, and killing so many insects and animals and just their land in general to plant your crop. To plant your crop, animals have to die. The living creatures have to die. You may not view insects on the same level as animals, but they're a part of the ecosystem. They get shit done that allow you to breathe. That when it comes downstream, right? It's the circle of life. So, oh my God, it's an insane level of ignorance, not understanding how the things work within your life when you're an adult. I can understand you may push the button in your vehicle to start that motherfucker, then you have no concept of how that works. But you should at the very least understand where your food is coming from and that there was forested land that was removed. I can just think about all the rodents, all the birds, all the small little creatures that inhabit these wild lands that get destroyed. There's no saving the environment or saving animals that may be slaughtered by eating vegan, right? And the reality is, if you tried to make 8 billion people do it, the farmland would get scaled to such a level that you're clearing out natural environments that we need. Maybe you should be definitely like super pro indoor vertical scaling farm advocates, right? That removes the need for pesticides by having clean rooms. You vertically scale so you can have more crops based upon the just scaling upwards. That is the thing that honestly we should be focused on if it's viable for all major fruits and veggies that the majority of people eat. But even then, what's the cost for it, right? If it's not cost efficient, shit's not gonna happen. But I'm ranting and raving. Let's read some comments. Top comment by Leah. I was about to say Liz. Leah underscore Delphine with 3.k upvotes. One, she's not vegan. She's pescatarian. And two, she's a hypocrite. And spinach and potatoes replies. Three, a guest that feels it's their place to tell the host and other guests what they may or may not eat should have, for everyone else's benefit, be uninvited. Senator Bush replies to spinach and potatoes. 4, there is no number 4. And Jack Stee 67 replies to that. 5, how does she know that fish don't know they exist? Yeah, it's not a fish don't feel thing, but a fish don't know they exist. It sounds crazy, even if you don't know shit about fish. But OK Airline 9031 replies to them saying, which is amusing, not, because there are plenty of examples that fish are aware of themselves, each other, and the world at large. You don't know what creature out there has a brain that's firing off more than our own, and because they're not interested in destroying the environment, they live an animal lifestyle and are vastly more intelligent than we are. It makes me curious if there's been a state and a form of evolution that's taken place that separates the current Homo sapiens from whatever the new version is, and they are just better. You know, have you ever thought about that? They are just better. Technically, they're a whole different animal. They can look at the rest of us like, y'all ain't doing this shit right. More comments. Ruthless underscore, I can't read apparently. Pathless underscore path drops a comment saying, honestly, I let her go to the dinner and see her have a meltdown about the other people eating by their diets. Maybe she needs a lesson in respecting other people's preferences, especially since she's mistaken about her own. NOP replies to that. Let's be honest, that's probably going to happen because there's no way I'm letting her choose what others should eat. Bro, it's not even like this is a pizza place and I'm paying in advance for this. Let's all get pizza that has cheese on it. I can't even like defend this shit because HNS and Rachel says the comment that I agree with. Uninvite her. I didn't read the rest of it. Seriously, tell your friend that if she can't accept that other people don't have to abide by the choices she's made for herself, she isn't welcome. Okay, I still agree with it. I just had to make sure. Like, I saw the uninvite her part and I was like, I agree. New function 6407 says, quoting, this entitled girl replied that everyone should accommodate her dietary restrictions and eat the seitan based plate she wanted to order. What is this anyway? And they ask why. And OP replies, it was more ethical and respectful to her in her opinion. Yeah, opinions are like assholes. What is this? Seitan? This is... Oh, it's a Japanese food, so it's pronounced seitan. It's a food made from gluten, the main protein of wheat. It is also known as mianjin, or which is Chinese. Fu, which is Japanese, or milgogi, which is the Korean name, or mikan. Are they putting the proper names in order? Huh. Wheat gluten is an alternative to soybean-based foods, such as tofu, which are sometimes used as a meat alternative. Some types of wheat gluten have a chewy or stringy texture that resembles meat more than other substitutes. Wheat gluten is often used in instead of meat in Asia, vegetarian, vegan, Buddhist, and macrobiotic cuisines. Mock duck is a common use. Seitan. Wheat gluten first appeared during the 6th century as an ingredient for Chinese noodles. It has historically been popular in cuisines of China, Japan, and other East and Southeast Asian nations. In Asia, it is commonly found on the menus of restaurants catering primarily to Buddhist customers who do not eat meat. Huh. Okay. We're on to the update, baby. So, a couple of people asked for an update, so here we are. I told my friend what was going on with his girlfriend. He apologized and told me she was just finding excuses to complain like she always does. She doesn't really care about what other people eat. Also, I have a feeling they're not going to last a lot more as a couple. He tried to reason with her and she calmed down. I celebrated my graduation today and she was actually very nice to me and congratulated me 1,000 times. She's not bad at all when she's in a good mood, but her mood is very unpredictable, I noticed. We had the meal and she loved it. She's a very picky eater, so I was impressed and surprised to see her pleased with the food. But what matters is that everyone enjoyed the day. Also, I found out she recently got food poisoning from eating like 30 plus oysters in one sitting at a buffet, which I found pretty ironic despite her despite being sorry for her. For those who didn't believe this story could be real, I'm glad you never had to deal with people who are always pissed for some reason. Hopefully, you're always surrounded by people who are chill about what you eat or don't eat. I gotta let you know, you guys, I'm someone who's always pissed. I'm like Bruce Banner. I'm always angry because there's always some bullshit going on in the world. Oh, the top comment is Ted W. The vegan ate 30 plus oysters? And OP replies, she claims to be vegan but eats seafood. A lot of it, apparently. And Zora says, that's pescatarian, not vegan. And OP replies, I agree. She identifies as a vegan, though, and is seemingly very proud of it. That's why I used the quotation marks. Oh my God. You know, this fake vegan shit. And then you try to like have like the moral high ground. It's honestly so dumb. Right. Like fish don't know they exist. Okay, so cows don't know they exist. Pigs don't know they exist because there are some big ass fish out there. Have you ever eaten shark before? If it's like a sizing thing in your mind, or I don't know, maybe she just doesn't like value it. Maybe she just really can't give up the taste of seafood and she likes fish too much. It's so dumb. 30 plus oysters? It's crazy work. It's crazy work. 30 plus? Could y'all do 30 plus oysters? Matter of fact, comment down below how many oysters you can eat in one sitting. Because I've never even had an oyster before. Like some stuff I want to go down south for to try. Like I'm not going to have crawdads up here. I will strictly like dodge them so I can go eat crawdads down in Louisiana. I need to save up some money so I can make that trip. I need to go back to Cali, then back to Cali. I need to go back to New York, then go to Cali for the first time. And then Louisiana should be after. There's so much stuff I got to buy. So much stuff, man. Forget trips. I got to buy so much equipment. I would tell y'all to subscribe to the Patreon, but I got to decide how I'm going to split things up. I need to give them a call. I need to see if I can add a proper business email to the current one. Otherwise, it's currently attached to my own personal email, and I don't want that for y'all or for me. Yeah, so don't subscribe to the Patreon right now. But once I have things sorted out, absolutely. So just come back next episode to figure out if I do or don't have that figured out. Yo, what's my problem? Oh, we're over an r/true off my chest with a post by designer mongoose 308. My boyfriend called me a gold digger, so I left. Now he wants my help to pay the rent. Okay. I, 30 female, have been with my boyfriend, 34 male, for 2 years. We moved in together 6 months ago, and it was all good. We had an understanding that we would go 50-50 on chores and bills until we decided to have a child. As I would be the one putting my body, career, and life on the line, he would obviously need to make up for his lack of risk by contributing more around the house and monetarily. Because of this, I believe we had an understanding on how we believe partnerships should work. Nope, you need to have really, really deep, hard, stressful conversations that mentally drain you. This is necessary. 2 months ago, he got a slight promotion and pay bump, which meant we adjusted our cut of the bills to reflect that. But somehow he's come to expect me to then take up the chores at home. It started with small things that I knew he could do, like dishes and laundry, and escalated to sitting down all weekend, watching me do my half and leaving his half of the chores to accumulate. He blamed it on the stress and added workload, but we're both corporate and work at our desks regardless. I would be more understanding if his job was more physically demanding. It got to a breaking point when I noticed mold in the pots he was meant to clean. Ugh. If either of us cooks, it's the other's responsibility to clean. He just kept the lid on. My brain just broke with that one. He just kept the lid on it so I wouldn't notice. I needed to take a day off work to catch up with all the cleaning he neglected. The last straw was when he came home without groceries, despite it being his week. Usually when either of us is too tired to do groceries, we let the other know in advance so we can at least order in food. I told him we need to add a cleaner to the bills if he's not happy doing chores anymore, because I refuse to do them if he isn't contributing fairly too. He made an excuse about not wanting a stranger in our flat. I then said that we need to begin ordering grocery deliveries for the extra cost too, if he can no longer be bothered, and he called me frivolous with money. So I suggested that I would be happy to take up these responsibilities, but it would mean I would drop my working days from 5 to 4. And I would expect to be compensated for the sacrifice I'm taking to my own career so he can focus on his responsibilities, because apparently they matter more than my own. And I would also expect to be paid an hourly rate for doing chores at the average market salary for a housekeeper. He seemed so surprised and shocked I suggested that and didn't know how to reply despite having the answer for everything I said before. I started to feel like he was trying to manipulate me into a situation that was more ideal to him and less ideal to me. And if he loved me, he wouldn't be doing that. So I asked him if his friends put him up to do this because I knew they all struggled to keep girlfriends. And he said a proper woman will be happy to look after the house. And he called me a gold digger. I was shocked because I wasn't asking for designer items. I was asking for fair compensation for my labor, especially seeing as it would dent my own career to take on all this work. So I called him a gold digger for wanting a private chef and housekeeper for free. I was admittedly angry at this point and also told him to stop being so proud of his promotion if he was too broke to afford a chef and cleaner and instead tries to manipulate the woman he loves to do it for free. Not really for free, because taking a day off from work from my salary means I'll be paying for the privilege to clean up after him out of pocket. So, not really for free. I told him he was dragging me down when we were supposedly meant to build each other up equitably. The flat is his. So when he was ignoring me after the fight, I started packing. He told me I would see sense, but I didn't bother. I started to feel embarrassed that I didn't notice he was like this and wasted 2 years to build up to this letdown. As I packed my car, I said as much and told him not to contact me. I blocked him everywhere, and he's now sending our mutual friends messages and voice notes to forward to me. My friends have been mostly on my side, seeing him as a bit pitiful, and I can see that. One of the male friends we have in common mentioned that he's been watching podcasts recently about masculinity, and I have a feeling this is where he got the idea to stall my future and put me under his foot to only serve his dreams and goals. I feel angry the more I think about it. He loved those podcast men's ideas more than he loved me. And now he expects me to feel sorry that he can't afford the rent without my contribution. But I believe he still thinks I'm a gold digger for not accepting an unfair division of effort and labor. If this has happened to any other woman, how did you address this? I'm annoyed I let it trickle and accumulate for 2 months before addressing. Damn, 2 months? Moving forward, I won't enter a relationship without having this outlined at the dating stage. I'm in my 30s now, and I don't want to deal with men expecting free women labor because society makes them believe it's worthless in comparison to what they do. P.S. Sorry for my wonky English. I am from a European country that isn't the UK. You're good. I kind of took care of you. I kind of took care of you. I'm sure a lot of women are going through this. The manosphere, right wing, conservative, red pill, men's rights bullshit has destroyed so many relationships, has rotted the brain of so many men and turned them into zombies. Hateful men who just view women as less and wants to only fuck them and have them cook and clean for them, right? Have them be brood mares. It's honestly abhorrent. The Fresh and Fit podcast, Andrew Tate's, all these other disgusting racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic. What other icks can I think of? Sex trafficking rapists are the absolute worst set of people to even be listening to. And if I throw you off with those last two, you can go Google who Andrew Tate is, and you can Google the crimes that he's being extradited from the United States for. These people have become some of the most popular men on the internet. They're one point or the other, right? They have excelled and become shit. Andrew Tate was the #1 most Googled man for like a week. You already know what happens when you become the #1 person. Everyone is listening to you. Everyone is clamoring to learn from you, especially when you present yourself as a rich man who can have any woman that he wants, and he has several women. When in reality, he was a sex trafficking pimp. But again, you can look this shit up yourself, and you can even listen to his own videos speaking about all the crimes that he's committed, because he's spoken about them at length with such a level of bravado, or you would think that this motherfucker was untouchable. But he's being touched in prison right now, or jail. Jail, max security. Yeah, as the 10th, as of August 10th, 2026. He somebody's touching on him. I think it's hilarious. But there's an issue that we had, maybe from like the 70s to the 80s, but definitely from the 90s to the 2000s. We had so much positive media, or just so much collective media honed in to give advice to women, from the cookbooks to the tabloids to the magazines to the radio shows to the talk shows on TV. Think The View. What is it? The Red Table? Oprah, where advice was given to majorly female audiences by women, by rich women, women in power. And this allowed women to stumble, right, here and there, but lock in down a certain path. Men did not have this. Certain shows came out, certain talk shows, certain radio shows came out and got canceled because they said some wild things for that time period, but we haven't had anything like that. And so now that social media is here and you can go incredibly viral by just paying a couple of $1,000s here and there, you can spread the absolute worst message. And knowing what Andrew Tate has done based upon the words that came out of his own mouth, and that there are so many people that agree with him, men are, boys are, teenagers are getting the absolute wrong message. And you might think, oh, he says some good things. Yeah, these people have given great advice on working out and getting my finances up. Oh man, you 10, Mr. Always on 10, you're not super strong. You're not super rich. You ain't got it like that. This guy does. So obviously I'm gonna listen to everything he says. That's like saying, yeah, Hitler gave great advice on how to walk little old ladies across the street. So I'm gonna listen to everything that he says. It's Hitler, dog. Like, evil, degenerate, nasty fucking human beings are going to do nice things here and there. They will be able to give good sound advice here and there. Your boy has been over 300 pounds in his life, so I can give you fucking advice on how not to be fat. Right? But would you want to listen to me on how to work out, or would you want to listen to a trained professional who went to college for it? Right? That's one thing. You have to be able, as a man, as a woman, as a they, them, you have to be able to parse out certain information and see certain behaviors and be like, I shouldn't listen to this person. Because the reality is, it's not just you listening to this one particular piece of content or this one particular creator. It is an overlapping algorithm that reinforces you are a person, man or woman, in an age range of 18 to 25 or 18 to 24, 25 to 35, the 36 to 50, and then 50 to 64 and 65 plus, right? You make between 10 to 40,000, 50 to 70,000, 70 to 100, 100 to 200, and 200 plus, right? You are this ethnicity, you live in this area, and you like engaging with these pieces of media. You are just a number in a system. So once you start engaging with something, those people who match your type of person as you are, based upon the information that's been collected, will start seeing the same type of media, right? Then it will be reinforced with similar levels of that same brand of content, right? The hashtags are fitting, the SEO is happening, the search engine optimization. You will see more of that content. It happens on YouTube Shorts. It happens on TikTok. It happens on Instagram. I'm sure if you go and you watch a couple Spider-Man edits and a couple Spider-Man videos, your feed for the next couple days or week is going to be full of Spider-Man content. It's just that simple. So if you start engaging with these degenerate loser people, you may think it's good advice, but all you're doing is telling the algorithm, I want to see more of this, even if you only watched a couple times. And then it's going to be shown to other people as well who fit into your same box. Other people within your friend group who live in your house, who have the same IP address as you because they're on your Wi-Fi. So anyone who enters your house, those, again, who are in your age range, monetary bracket, right, who like the things that you do. The algorithm thinks that, ooh, this gets them to stay and watch, and this pays us ad revenue. So we will show this to more people, right? We need more male mentors and more good, positive, male-centered media that can teach in the same manner that women have had for decades. Decades. This has crossed nearly 3 generations, if not more. Because before, the media was just enforced by what men said women should see, which kind of still kind of tracks because the men still own the majority of these companies, right? But it's neither here nor there, right? You should be able to parse out what bad information is. But these men leading these boys, these young men, even these older men down this harsh path, they won't be able to see that it's happening. And these men shouldn't exist online, period. They shouldn't have a platform, period. I'm ranting and I'm raving, but this is necessary to speak about. Because it's a detriment. It starts with, here's how you work out. Here's how you get your money up. Here's a way on how you should treat a person. And then it spirals. An individual, if you're a man and you're listening right now and you've watched Fresh and Fit before, I want you to think about the person named Fit, Myron Gaines, right? Could you imagine him running around making monkey noises and wearing a Klan mask on his head? If you can't think that he would ever do that, I want you to just Google that or search it on YouTube, and you'll see it pop up. A man of African descent who is a United States citizen doing the most abhorrent racist things that you can possibly do outside of causing real mental and bodily harm to an individual of color, running around on a live stream, mimicking, imitating the Klan. It's insanity. So these are the people with millions upon billions of impressions online across all social media platforms who are some, unfortunately, the most famous male figures in the United States that men listen to. And it's sad. It's sad. So just spinning off of him talking about, OP talking about her ex watching these podcasts. It starts with just a little bit of good advice, but the shit starts trickling in because there's so much content chopped up into shorts, into short videos and reels. You don't realize until you're sucked in deep that you're months in, years in, believe in some of the crazy shit that they do because it gets reinforced. You start agreeing with some of the comments in the comment section. You start seeing posts by other creators. You get deeper and deeper and deeper. A couple years ago, before TikTok got bought, there were two female scientists who wanted to see how long it would take to fall into deep right-wing conservative TikTok. And I'm using the buzzwords because they really wanted to see how long it would take for them to see Nazi content that would try to propagandize and brainwash them. Making two fresh new accounts and then several others after that, it took just 2 hours of engaging with the right content where it's pro-Nazi shit online. There's not enough people out there who could possibly be moderators, who could work to physically get this stuff removed from the internet, go through reports and get the stuff removed. So you got to utilize algorithmic responses and wait for the reports to come through and remove things and mass report things with other individuals. But the fact of the matter is that there are spaces on the internet that are easily accessible, and within a day, within the afternoon, within a 2-hour span, you could find yourself deep on the side of the internet where there are Nazis happily pushing out disgusting rhetoric. It just shows that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. A lot of work that needs to be done. And these social media platforms, fortunately and unfortunately, need to be held accountable. Ooh, I was just yapping for a bit, boy. Top comment is by a deleted user, but their comment's still here, and they got 6.8K upvotes. Nothing funnier than men calling women gold diggers when they got no gold to dig. And Significant Orange 139 replies to that. I'll never forget the day my sister's mother-in-law got mouthy and she snapped back with, "Your son couldn't even manage a coal mine. There's no gold to be dug." She loves that man, but he ain't he ain't the fucking provider. Oh my God. Amy Lou replies to them. LMAO, my mother-in-law accused me of being with her son for the money one time. This was back in high school when he worked at Walmart and I didn't have a job yet. I will admit he paid for almost all of our dates, but he literally wouldn't let me pay, LOL. Little did she know I was an artist and had an Etsy shop since age 13 who made a decent amount from that, and I'm set to inherit a decent chunk of money from my family. I don't need her son. I just want him. Heart emoji. And that's the thing, man. Like, and there are so many more people commenting under the same like breath. Are there people out there who just want to get with a person for their money? Yes. But inherently, In this hyper capitalistic society, people are raised and socialized in a way to go after people for what they have and try to give them something so they can get something. That's the basis of all relationships. Give and take. You have something I want. I have something you want. Let's give it to each other and then build time and memories on top of it. It sounds so transactional and so basic and sad, but that's real life. You see somebody who looks pretty, who looks cute, who looks handsome, who looks beautiful, you go talk to them. And then you spend time together based upon those interests that you have in common. And you have physical interactions with one another that you come to enjoy. And then you continue on down that path, doing things together. Or you don't, because you don't align. So if there's no quid pro quo, then there is no relationship. And it sounds crazy, but even coming off of like third wave feminism, coming out of the 70s where women got the right to have their own bank accounts, the generation being raised by those women were raised to go after men who could afford to take care of them. We get that time period where we're now trickling up to 50% employment for women in the workforce, but that's just half. Removing those who can't like physically work, right? And removing those who are in school during that time period. It's half. So half are 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, going to college. So they need someone to take care of them. It's either going to be the parents, monetarily speaking, right? Or it's going to be a partner. A lot of people meet at school and in the workplace and get into relationships from there. You can either live at home until you get married on some real old school weird shit, or, hey, come move in with me. Let's move into this place together. And that takes money. Money. Right? Inherently, societally speaking, and just the way things move in this patriarchal society, male jobs get paid more. Women aren't socialized to go and work in fields that pay well. Right? You can look at the number of doctors and then the specializations, right? Like neurosurgeons, I think it's like 2% women, but they get paid like crazy. And there's nothing inherent that says, oh, a woman can't be a neurosurgeon. No, it's just the way we are socialized when we are raised, and then going to college, the environment pushes women out. It is men and adults pushing women out. Right. Saying, hey, you shouldn't do this. Even when you're growing up, here's these Barbie dolls. Right. You're growing up, you're consuming certain media. It's atrocious. There's no real equality. There's no. I need to just read this story and read these comments. I'm truly on a tangent. I'm sorry, y'all. Let me read this. Edit. There is a edit. Edit. Thank you for the overwhelming support. I see so many people have gone through the same thing, and it makes me feel less angry that I found myself in this situation. I wanted to explain a few points that came up a lot. One, he created an Excel spreadsheet that calculated based on income how we can fairly contribute. When his pay increased, he paid more monthly, 80 euros, and also had 400 euros extra monthly disposable income. If this is what soured him, I suppose he should have mentioned, because it was his system, not mine. Two, we did not keep a tally. We had favorite chores. He likes to vacuum. I like to put away dishes. Sometimes he is sick, does overtime, or isn't in the mood. I would happily do it. The same with him for me. I only start to tally when a pattern emerged. I would be stupid to not take notice when he is consistently leaving things to me silently, as if expecting me to silently sort it out. The mold was disgusting. The groceries were just a straw that broke the camel's back. I was exhausted after only 2 months of picking up the slack mentally and physically. Couldn't imagine doing it without serious reconsiderations to our dynamic. 3. We discussed children because we both agreed that we wanted the relationship to head in that direction. Not because we were ready now. I would not have spent 2 years with a man if our future ideas didn't align. It's okay if someone changes their mind later, but communication is important. 4. He listened to these podcasts in secret. I had no idea. And we usually share the entertainment we consume together. Silly videos and films. I wonder if he was doing this at work, on lunch, on his way to and from work. Ugh. Known Party 6529 drops a comment. What messages are he sending you besides rent? Is he trying to get you back? And OP replies to this. Mainly apologies and explanations for what he said. The last message I read was about his plans for his career and how he wanted to become a high earner. So I never need to work and he can buy me everything. That's that red pill shit right there. That's that language right there. Me and my friends agree he is digging a hole and he still ignores my career and goals. And after accusing me of being a gold digger, his plan is to make me a gold digger? Not sure. I think he is just in crisis mode now. And that's the thing, man. These people will have you not caring. These men will have other men and boys not caring or even viewing women as their own person. Absolutely no autonomy whatsoever. They are just a thing at that point. They are, I see it. I've seen it in all my friends, matter of fact. Even like before and during the red pill shit. It is truly patriarchy at work, and it has been at work for centuries, specifically in this country. Men view women as like children and dogs sometimes. I said it earlier, broodmare, like a chef, a maid, right? But the way I see men talk about women is crazy. And then they are some of the most like competent people. Do people fuck up? Do women fuck up? Do men fuck up? Yes. But if you're talking about your partner, your wife, the one who, because you have put her into this position, because you want to be the high earner, the breadwinner, the one who cooks, the one who cleans, the one who takes care of the children, the one who handles the household finances, right? The architect for your home, really. If you view them as less than and you dislike those things about them, why would you get with them? Why would you get with them? People have to be okay with being alone. And that's the thing. People have to be okay with being alone. And if you think, oh, the type of person that I want is outside the realm of what I can reach based upon these values I have set, I am at this level, therefore I cannot reach them over here, then you should better yourself. I want a well-educated, no drama having woman who makes good money. Of course, she has to match a bunch of different morals and values that I hold and wants to do the things family-wise that I want to do, right? She has to walk in stride with me. If we want to take over the world, she has to be down for that. But if I'm not there and I try to get with this person and they're so far above me, what interest would they even have with me? It's just a lot of lofty goals. If I'm not achieving, if I want a well-educated woman, but I speak like gibberish, right? If I want a woman who earns well, but I don't earn well. If I want a woman who has everything together financially for herself, but I don't. It's just, I want a lot of things and I'm not working to get them. And it feels weird to even say things, but right. So I maneuver through life in a certain way and I chase things and I go after things in a certain manner after I have a certain set of knowledge and I am able to walk into those doors. I'm able to step into those doors. I've done the preparation as necessary. That's a fundamental issue with men. I'm not sure how much of the population of America, but boys and men not seeing women as truly just and simply only the opposite sex as them. Right. Because they don't view men in this manner. And maybe it's just like the fact of the matter that these are all straight men. But I'm getting lost in the sauce. Let's go to the update. All right. Hey, I posted on this up a few months ago about my relationship with my 31 female, ex 35 male, falling apart due to his change in ideology and seeing me less like a partner and more like someone who only exists to support his dreams. The breakup was quick. I walked out after a major fight with most of my items, and my father went back to collect the rest while I was on FaceTime. I wasn't scared of him then, but I knew he tried to talk to me as he was bothering all our mutual friends to get in contact with me on his behalf. Since then, I have slowly drifted away from our mutual friends. As no one has cut contact with him, I just wanted friends who didn't feel like they were walking on eggshells around me. He had started off being very apologetic in his messages to me through them, but quickly became mean and blamed me for everything. He lost a flat because he could no longer afford it and moved to a studio. While he was heartbroken, his sister would look after him and clean sometimes, but even then, she got tired of it. Why would you have your sister clean up after you, you fucking slob? He told everyone he was depressed because of me, so they all tiptoed around him. But once I started to drift off and hang out with more of my hometown friends and reconnect, I heard less and less. About a month ago, I got asked on a date and said yes. The man, 33, let's call him Martin, is completely new to this area and knew barely anyone. So we spent a lot of time together in the first week, just me showing him around and being more like friends before seriously dating. Somehow, my ex found out, and I'm still not sure how, but I think a mutual friend saw me and reported back. He turned up at my father's house. He doesn't know where I currently live, asking to talk to me. I called a mutual friend to alert them of his weird behavior. It seemed to work because he didn't try anything for a while. But then one friend called me to tell me that they found my ex has lost his job because for the past few weeks, he's been driving around my town all day instead of working in the hopes to spot me. This has scared me, as I didn't think he was capable of that. But if you read my last post, you know I don't seem to be able to predict these things well. Martin is a tall, large man, so I go out with him almost everywhere since we like spending time together anyways. And I also have my friends and my father, so I don't feel like I'm in immediate danger, but this behavior sounds like the kind of behavior from an entitled and delusional man. And we all know how far the delusions of entitlement can take them. For him to lose the job he wanted me to prioritize over mine and entirely started our argument last time doesn't sit right with me. At this point, the police here can't do anything as he hasn't acted and I can't prove he has stalked me electronically. So the only way for me to find out more or resolve this is by unblocking him. Now I'm grateful I blocked him so thoroughly because it allowed me to have a clean break. But obviously, in his red pill mind, that's not normal. Will closure help him? Martin has suggested that he'd even pretend to be a fully dedicated boyfriend to help discourage my ex from any ideals of reconciliation. Honestly, since our breakup, I have been considering moving to Portugal, but very whimsically. Now this situation has made me think about it seriously. I write because last time your comments gave me comfort and lots of insight and confidence. I'm not gonna lie, there's not a lot of comments on this one. And not only is there not a lot of comments on this one, there's no comments by OP. So I hope that OP is okay, physically and mentally. I hope nothing bad happened. I hope that her ex got his fucking mind out of the Lululand and he got his fucking shit together, I hope that his parents picked him up and said, hey, come move back home, right? You got evicted, come move back home. I'll take care of you. I hope that he stopped watching all that red pill bullshit. This shit is a cancer to the men and to some women. To quite the pink pill is the term for women. I truly hope that, God, that makes me want to cry. Fuck. I hope that everyone's doing better. That's the number one thing that I want for the people, everyone on this goddamn planet, to live a healthy, happy life, doing whatever they want to do that doesn't impede on another person's life. Like, do the shit that you want that doesn't hurt others so that you're happy and healthy. It shouldn't be that hard to get something like such a simple thought. We're over in r/am I the asshole with a post by sit throwaway. Nope. Okay, one more time. Cut this part out. We're over in r/am I the asshole with a post by sit-throwaway. Am I the asshole for walking out over a chair? Okay, hear me out. For as long as I can remember in my family, almost any time I got up from my seat, someone would take it to either be funny or to claim it as if no one was using it. And as a teenager, it literally got to the point I bought my own folding chair so I could pick it up and carry it with me. If I left it where it was, someone would take it, then get mad when I wanted it back. As an example, on a holiday last year, I got up from my chair for a moment to help with something and came back to find a kid in it. And then the family berated me for wanting them to move. But I tell them that when a man owns and brings his own chair, they expect to be able to use it. I own a very nice folding chair that's comfortable and easily portable. And I pretty much bring it to any family events because people are always scrambling for chairs. Well, the other day, I went to a birthday party for my nephew, and like always, I brought my own chair. But at some point, I had to use the bathroom. When I came back, my chair was gone, and everyone acted like they didn't know where it was. I said they had 1 minute to return it, or I was leaving. They laughed at first, but then realized as I was serious, as I started going for the door, everyone told me to just calm down and that it was a joke. I said I don't care if they think I'm a stick in the mud. I wouldn't bring my own chair all the time if other people weren't always taking my seat when I get up. I don't think it's funny. I never did. My brother-in-law then pulled the chair out of where he hidden it, and when I got it back, one of the legs was bent. I said it was not like this before, and how could he possibly have done this to a metal chair? He said he could fix it and tried to unbend it, but only made it worse. The chair is pretty much unusable now because the leg is warped, and I don't want to risk putting my weight on it. I told my brother-in-law he owes me $50 for the chair because that's what I paid for it new 2 years ago. He got mad and kept saying it was just a stupid chair. I said it was my stupid chair, and this wouldn't have happened if he wasn't so immature that he and everyone else had to mess with me for years about where I sit. I then took my now messed up chair and walked out. My family has been blowing up my phone, saying that it's just a chair and to let it go, but I still want my brother to pay me back for it. Am I the asshole? Nope. Your family's fucking weird. No, you're not the asshole. Your family is. Everyone sucks here except for you. They're the asshole, not you. I honestly, I need to start actually commenting on some of these posts because I just give my input here, but I never engage. So when you're over on Am I the Asshole subreddit, and when you got a new post, you leave a comment, not the asshole, everyone sucks here, you're the asshole, right? You can leave those as abbreviations, YTA, ESH, NTA, not the asshole, everyone sucks here, you're the asshole. And it gets rated, and in turn, at the very top of the post, I can see in advance, it says not the asshole, all right? So I already know either I'm going to agree heavily with people's rating for this story, or I'm not going to agree, or I'll disagree in some form or fashion, because you can leave other types of votes as well, right? You can leave YWBTA, you would be the asshole. YWNBTA, you would not be the asshole, and the other person would. NAH, no assholes here, or INFO, not enough info, which of course isn't an acronym, an abbreviation. It's just them asking for info. Let me get my life together. Top comments by Harpagist. Why is your username this? They bully for years, constantly conspire as a group to prevent you from sitting, hide and break your property, and insult and gaslight you when you attempt to set the smallest boundary. Am I missing anything? I would suggest not attending these get-togethers anymore. They can play musical chairs without you. Seriously, what do you actually get out of going to these things that is worth putting up with the bullying? NTA, not the asshole. And this got them 5.4K upvotes. And Yonk 182 reinforces their comment. Yes, it's not about the chair. It's about the bullying and disrespect. And remember, disrespect is the lack of respect, and respect is having the utmost admiration for someone's qualities, abilities, and or achievements. And the secondary definition, we'll read this. Boop. Search. Secondary definition is, oh man, come on, Oxford, get your shit together. Let's go to Merriam-Webster. To lack special regard or respect. Nope. To show disrespect or contempt. Nope. Do we just need to go to disrespectful as a definition? I think we do. God damn it. Hold on. We'll go for disrespectful as a definition. Beep. Beep, 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 beep. Because I think this is the proper one. Uncivil, discourteous, lacking proper respect in speech or action, showing disesteem or contempt. Is it Oxford where I got it from? Ah, man. Or maybe it's disrespectable. No. Ah, man. It's like being treated in a way that society deems as normal. That was a definition I saw for respect, right? But it wasn't respect specifically. It was, oh man, matters. Maybe it's the fact that I'm looking up the word disrespect instead of respect. That's what I need to look up. Due regard for the feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others, right? This is the Oxford Secondary Google search definition, right? Because the first one is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Yeah, so let's see what Merriam-Webster got. A feeling of understanding that someone or something is important, serious, etc., and deserves appropriate treatment or regard. Special or high regard. The quality or state of being esteemed. Respects, plural, expressions of high or special regard or deference. A particular way of thinking about or looking at something. A relation or reference to a particular thing or situation, right? So it's a reason why I don't like the word being used in such a way, because you can just say decency, right? You should treat a person decently, because that would be a way that shows to act in a way which shows awareness of someone's rights, wishes, etc. To treat or deal with something good or valuable in a proper way. These are the secondary definitions on Merriam-Webster for respect as a verb, right? Because there are always a lot of definitions for the word, and I never liked it, right? Because it just always felt wrong. So I must have, in the back of my mind, always knew that people were using the word incorrectly. It's too strong of a word, honestly. All right, back to the story. Story. Back to the comments. A deleted user dropped a comment that got them 229 upvotes. Not the asshole. Your family are horrible. That is a eyelash on my glasses. I keep seeing it. I'm like, what's going on here? Your family are horrible. And they say are instead of is. At this point, it's not jokes, it's harassment and bullying. It's rude to take someone's chair, especially since you got tired of this. So you bring your own chair so you can be comfortable and can actually sit. They have been so this for years, and it's pretty disgusting. They have been so this for years. Were you typing on your phone? The way you type is weird, dog. Maybe this is why you deleted your account. You need to send one reply to your phone calls and messages and then block the numbers. Send a message to all of them in text saying that you are sick of the bullying and harassment and now the stealing of your personal chair. This is unacceptable toxic behavior and you are not tolerating it anymore. All the numbers / emails, etc. will be blocked until you get a certified check in the mail from brother-in-law to replace your chair, and only then will you unblock them to have some contact, but will not attend any family events or holidays until you can trust there will be no more jokes, bullying, and harassment. Then follow through. Oh, and include your mailing address for the check. And OP replies to this. Yeah, I'm the youngest sibling in my mid-20s, and my eldest sibling is mid-30s. Yet I'm the only one who won't act like it's a frat house when partying. My siblings all have spouses and kids too. Yeah, this ain't it at all. This ain't it at all. No. No, they've been doing this since he was a kid. Let's read these. Small little update before we get to the big update. Last night, I sent a mass text out to my family that I will not be going to any family function, no matter how important it is, until they make this right by promising not to screw with me anymore and repay me for the chair. They're mostly going quiet now, but I can wait. I've got all the time in the world for them to realize I'm serious. And we don't gotta wait because we already got the update. And they posted this over in r/entitled people. I walked out over a chair and my family tore itself apart. I wasn't gonna come back here again. And to be honest, I'd completely forgotten I made this account. I only got back in because I'd written down the password and left it in my desk. I was listening to Reddit videos on YouTube a couple weeks ago when I suddenly heard my old Am I the Asshole post. So I thought I'd give an update. Well, things escalated a lot after I made that post because I linked it to my parents and other family members after a little while. They were furious with me at first. Some even mocked me saying things like, oh, watch what you say or do around OP. He might just post about it on Reddit. But when they actually read the comments on my posts, when I made them, they became mortified. My brother-in-law did agree to pay for a new chair and gave me the money I asked for. I bought a better folding chair than my last one and resumed going to family functions. But whenever I was there, there was this air about some of the family members. And they looked at me like I sucked all the fun out of the room. My parents had stopped thinking of the chair thing. It was funny. And even scolded a kid for taking my seat when I got up to use the bathroom. The only problem is that this kid is my nephew. And he started crying when they made him get up. My brother-in-law came to the boy's rescue, and my nephew ended up blurting out that his daddy told him he could do it. When I was out of the bathroom, there was a big fight about it going on. Several family members, including my sister and brother-in-law, were all yelling that it was just a damn chair, and I shouldn't be so butthurt about it. My parents demanded to know why they were so butthurt about not being allowed to screw with me anymore. Like, what was their motivation after doing it for so long? It made no sense and wasn't funny anymore. And that's when I intervened. I told them none of this crap would have ever happened if they hadn't been so intent on messing with me when there was really no point to it. And I only started bringing my own chair because I can never find a stable place to sit. And if they still thought they were in the right about the situation, they were just bullies. Plain and simple. And what kind of example is that to be setting for their son? My brother-in-law raged, grabbed my new chair, and hurled it through the living room bay window. There was a bit of a pause before he realized what he'd just done. Then he took off in his car and left my sister and nephew there. My parents got my sister to call him, and over the phone, they threatened to go to the police if he didn't pay for the damages. Brother-in-law yelled a few F-bombs until my sister took the phone back, and she said that he can either make things right or she'll divorce him. Well, that did the trick because he came back looking like a kicked puppy with his head hanging low. He apologized to me and my parents without even looking back at us. He said he paid for the new bay window and left again. My sister said he drank himself to sleep that night. Oof, alcoholics. My new chair was just fine. It took being hurled through a bay window like a champ. There was hardly a scratch on it. My brother hired a window company to come and replace the window, and they had to measure and order a new one before it could be installed. And until then, the window had to be covered with plywood. It took some time, but they got the new bay window. And it's better than the old one. Though I imagine that it was extra expensive because it's a bay window. The family was still divided about the situation for a while. Mainly brother-in-law's parents, my uncle, and a couple of cousins. They blamed me and called me obnoxious over insisting on bringing my own chair and refusing to let anyone else use it. So I compromised. I said that if I had a good designated seat that no one will try to take away, I'll leave my chair in the car. It took 2 more family barbecues before the family finally agreed to this. Since then, I've left the chair in my car unless there really wasn't enough seating, and that's only happened once since. So we can see it's been bullshit since the jump. It's crazy. The problem is, though, that even though they've stopped screwing with me, they were still screwing with each other until things went too far. They still like to take each other's seats, but I guess others were following my example because they put their feet down and demanded it to stop. It's been going on for decades, and they've had enough. Brother-in-law stayed out of the fight entirely and hasn't caused any more trouble. But for several family functions, a number of people didn't bother to show up. My mother was broken up about it because she loves hosting parties. It took months, but everything more or less normalized again. But without the chair thing going on, some have resorted to other stupid pranks. Like a little device you hook to a chair that makes farts. They didn't do this to my seat, but did it to a cousin. And said cousin got really petty at the next party and let out real farts. He said he had a whole pack of fiber bars and had eggs for breakfast, and it was damn nasty. Other pranks included hiding eating utensils, a stink bomb, hiding some sort of monster thing in the toilet, cellophane in the doorway, ripping paper when someone bends over, messing with drinks. No, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. I'm beating your ass over that. Hiding shoes, copying outfits. That's cute. A container of foam packing peanuts above the doorway. And finally, one that infuriated my aunt and uncle when a party was held at their house. A glitter bomb. They got the carpet professionally cleaned and billed the person who made the glitter bomb for it. So now pranks are just over. They don't want any more. I'm fine with that. But the last few family functions have been a bit dull. I think they were so used to how things were that now they're trying to find other ways to amuse themselves that don't involve cell phones. Top comment. Top comment, because like, bruh, I have no words. Glitter bomb? Glitter bomb? Top comment by Silent Joe, 1986. Those family gatherings sound like a monkey shit fight at a zoo. Have none of them heard of board games? Much more fun than trying to be a dickbag to people you are supposed to love. This got them. Let me see. Can I upvote this? Let me take my upvote away because I can't upvote this. Sometimes when the post is too long or locked, too old or locked, you can't upvote comments anymore. I'm gonna leave this at 616 upvotes MCU numbers, baby. Not even MCU. Real comic Marvel Universe. Main comic universe. Number of upvotes right there. 616, baby. Ooh, but a deleted comments or replies to Silent Joe. If they start playing Monopoly, we will hear about them in the news. I can't even suggest these people to play Uno. Honestly, I can't. Goofinim leaves a comment. These usernames are crazy. I'm sorry to say, but your family sounds insufferable. Also, at that, your brother-in-law sounds like a future abuser if he isn't one already. I'm worried for his wife and kid. And OP replies to this. My brother-in-law has anger issues, but my sister has him wrapped around her finger. I'm not exaggerating when I say my sister is out of his league. So he's basically a simp for her and pretty much does whatever she says. And she's making him go through marriage counseling after they finally managed to get in a little over a month ago. Kudos to them. Yeah. Kudos to them. Hopefully this leads to him getting individual therapy, honestly. Haunting Effect 3300 says, actually, given the maturity level displayed by most, perhaps Chutes and Ladders or Candyland is more their speed. And good for the aunt sending the glitter bomb cleanup bill to the correct person. Why should she have to absorb the cost of someone else's stupidity? And OP replies to this. I laughed so hard when I read Candyland because I actually imagined them playing it, yo. Yo, honestly. The family is weird as fuck, and since they've already like had this pranking, negative, joking nature, just like the comments, I couldn't imagine them having like a really good, productive, fun time without like talking crazy shit, throwing fits, getting into fights, especially because they're drinking at these events over coming in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and last place in some of these games. Because a sore loser is a school shooter. Ooh, that's bars. That's bars. Why did that come out of nowhere? Yeah. We're going to the final update. Or I should say the most recent update, because this update is from some time ago. Remember, you can go read these stories yourselves and read all the comments I didn't read, because OP is a yapper. I read like a couple of his comments. Cuz had 13 in the last one. And he got 17 in this one. I'm not reading all those comments because it gets a little repetitive, right? It gets a little repetitive. But we're over in r/entitled people. My chair was stolen. A brat broke my phone, and a chair prank caused a very messy divorce in the family. Somehow, I return again. And with some crazy info and stuff that went down this past year, I never could have imagined how things could have spiraled into what happened. If you guys thought my brother-in-law throwing my chair through a bay window after his son wasn't allowed to sit on it was crazy, just read about all of this. You're not going to want to believe it. Firstly, my good padded folding chair that I paid over $80 for was stolen. I have no idea by who, and as it didn't happen at a family event, but rather hanging out at a friend's house. So somebody just walked into his yard and took it. I learned my lesson and decided never to buy an expensive folding chair again. Now I just keep a cheap folding chair I got for $3 at a secondhand store in my trunk. Moving on to other stuff, the family pranks. I described in my last post seemingly stopped, but some of them slowly resumed. However, they were only harmless little things that just give chuckles. The only person that they refused to prank at all was me, due to the events of my previous posts. But that didn't stop entitlement. The 7-year-old son of one of my cousins stole my phone during a family birthday party at my parents' house and intentionally broke it rather than return it. His parents were already going through a rough patch. My cousin, the father, was constantly clashing with his wife over how to parent their child. His now ex-wife was a bad enabler of their son. She's also terrible with money and has a very her way or the highway attitude. And she does not like to back down when wrong. She was one of the more outspoken people that hated me bringing my own chair and never sharing it, but she never got physical about it. She once confronted me and said that if I was going to bring my own chair, it should be something nice and made of wood that didn't fold. I told her I was not going to lug around a dining room chair whenever I go. Wherever I go, when a folding chair takes up only a little space in my trunk. She argued with me about it more and got nowhere. None of the family events were at her house, and she does not dictate my life, but she gave me death glares for months. Otherwise, she left me alone. Then her son stole my phone. He'd already been grounded from electronics by his father. The kid took my phone when I set it down on the table to eat some cake, and then ran off with it when I wasn't looking. He holed himself up in the master bedroom closet and was trying to install new gaming apps on my phone. That closet had a lock on the door, and the key was lost years ago. The brat refused to come out or return the phone. His mother kept telling us all, mainly me, to just leave him alone and let him game on it. But I refused and said my phone was not his toy. The brat was told several times to open the door, and he refused. And all the while, his mother kept contradicting everything said. My cousin got fed up and started forcing the door open. It's an old manufactured home, and that door was pretty flimsy. Just as he was making headway, we heard loud banging sounds from inside the closet. The brat had started banging my phone against the nearest hard object he could find. The brat let out some loud screams as his dad pulled him out of the closet. The screen on my phone was nearly destroyed. Thankfully, the rest of it was protected by the case. My cousin's wife tried to blame it on me and said it was my fault her baby broke the phone because I wouldn't let him game on it. Everyone in the room turned on her, and she shut up out of cowardice. It costed around $300 to repair my phone, and I had to use a temporary one until mine was fixed. And yes, my cousin paid for the repairs. Well, the rest of the family knew about my cousin's wife's disdain for folding chairs, like the one I kept in my car. And they decided to pull a prank on her because of her attitude after the incident with her son stealing my phone. I would like to be clear that I was not involved in this in any way, nor did I really condone doing it, but the entire thing was out of my hands. My cousins got together and decided to prank that bee of a wife and got their hands on a whole bunch of folding chairs. They then removed every chair and seat in his house and replaced them with folding chairs. Folding chairs at the dining table, folding chairs at the counter, folding chairs in place of the living room furniture, and more strategic. And more strategic, I can't even get the word out. And more strategically placed around the house. Even the chairs on the porch were replaced with folding chairs. Fuck. When my cousin's wife came home, her reaction went far beyond what anyone thought. Their plan was just to record her having a tantrum and get a laugh. But she ended up going insane on the spot and tried to get a knife from the kitchen to attack her husband with. She couldn't get the knife, so she pulled out pepper spray from her purse and used it on everybody. Then she attacked her husband with her long fake nails. She probably would have tried to claw his eyes out or something, but thankfully one of the other guys there kicked her off of him. I couldn't freaking believe this shit happened all because of folding chairs. And I feel like the root cause, since I'm the one who was always bringing my own chair to family events, since there was never enough seating and people kept taking the places I was sitting, and it escalated far beyond me. Police were obviously called, the wife got arrested, and all the guys there had to go to the hospital because of the pepper spray in their eyes. And my cousin had to get all the scratches to his face treated. He looked like a bobcat attacked him. He filed for an immediate order of protection against his wife. They recorded everything, like her trying to get the knife and screaming she stabbed somebody. She had to go stay with her sister after spending some time in jail. And her sister, I hear, is as narcissistic as she is. My cousin obviously filed for divorce, and his wife later spent some more time in jail after pleading guilty for assaults. She wasn't allowed near her son for a while and tried to take it out on my cousin in court during the divorce. That did not go in her favor because he was easily able to prove how unhinged she is. My cousin got primary custody of his son, and his ex got only supervised visitation since she was so mentally unstable. She pretty much abandoned her son and has shacked up with some fat older man, got a serious tan, and bleached her hair. I guess she'd rather live the life of a sugar baby caked up in makeup. My cousin's son has shown great improvements since being separated from his mother. He was put through counseling and listens to his father more now. The kid has to be babysat a lot since my cousin has to work, but at the very least, things got better. I still feel like the root cause of this because of the chair thing. I mean, you're not, but I can see how she might try to come after your ass later on. I don't know, when her life explodes. But at the same token, I kind of feel like this is fake. Like, this part of the story is fake as hell because it gets kind of like anti-woman. The language is a little red pillish. Yeah, it's a little woman hatey, you know, because in reality, what the cousins needed, right? His cousin and his wife and the son is family counseling, marriage counseling, couples therapy, couples counseling, and then family therapy together with all of them. This is why I say when you get into a relationship and it gets serious, once a month, once a quarter, but whatever your therapist recommends, whatever your counselor recommends, do it. Do couples counseling. Do it. I think it's for the best. It can help you work out through small, medium, and large issues that you may not be able to get through. And if you start early, you may be able to see all types of red flags in your partner that you weren't able to tease out and see that the relationship is untenable. And at that point, you can dip out rather than go get married, tie your finances together, have a whole child together, and now, shit, she tried to claw my fucking eyes out. Now we're divorced, right? Maybe potentially she could have got help. Maybe she is actually diagnosably mentally ill, and she would have benefited from counseling and therapy, and it wouldn't have gotten to this point, honestly. Honestly, the same way you go to the doctor, the same way you go to the dentist, you should go to a therapist. I say, doctor, primary care visit once a year, dentist twice a year, therapist 4 times a year. And as every single doctor says, okay, you need to go see a specialist. You need to come back in. We need to handle these things. The dentist says, okay, you need some work done. You need to come back in. We need x-rays. We need these things. You need braces. The therapist is going to say, hey, I should see you once a month, once every 2 weeks, once a week, or twice a week. Some people need 3 times a week because of how much shit they've been going through in their life. Imagine coming back from war. You really need a professional to talk to. No one can understand what you're going through besides people who have gone through it and professionals who have put in their time, effort, hard-earned money to gain the knowledge to help others. So, yeah, we're going to read this edit, couple comments, and dip out of this story. Edit, just a bit of added info I didn't think to include before, but my cousin's ex-wife had a love for fancy, expensive things she couldn't really afford. See, that's that red pill language shit right here. She filled my cousin's house with imitation Victorian-style furniture that she was extremely anal about, which I suppose was one of the reasons she lost her mind so hard when it was all replaced with folding chairs. My cousin threw all that furniture out when he divorced her. He said it was all uncomfortable and it looked better than it felt. Second edit. My dumb self didn't bother to set a password on that phone when I got it, and so the kid was able to use it just fine when he took it. I set a password after getting the phone fixed, and the kid was grounded from electronic devices by his father for a month. This kid is 7? Was this kid 7 years old? Is that how old they were again? Yeah, don't give your kids under double digits devices. Don't. You can give them like games and set up like, oh, this is your designated hour or two to game. You can give them handheld, like what is it now? You can give them Nintendo Switches and what is it? The Steam Decks and whatever the PlayStation version is. I don't know if Xbox is going to have one by the time you guys listen to this, but yeah, you can give them those and designated certain times throughout the day. They can enjoy those games, right? Because it's bonding. Other kids are going to be playing. They should be allowed to play so they don't get like pushed out of social circles thoroughly in school. But they need to be limited. All kids need to be limited to like an hour or two a day because they got homework and they need to go outside and play. And they need to learn, right? They need to be kids, not the number one FPS shooter of all time, right? They don't need that. Top comment by Princess Kitta, because they spelled it Kittah. I'm not putting emphasis on it. That's just how they spelled it. This is wild. I'm happy she is out of everyone's hair. You shouldn't have to blame yourself, to be honest. You just wanted to sit down. If anything, you should be quietly proud to have broken the cycle of abuse and toxicity in your family. The folding chair prank was actually hilarious, by the way. It's crazy that it triggered her so bad. And this got them 444, boop, now 445 upvotes, because your boy had to come through with that one. Deep Mathematician 94 says, this is a lot to take in. I need to sit down. And Opie replies, I wish I could upvote this more. Thanks for the laugh. And the Milkman Half Come says, oh, we already got this info. So did your cousin ever tell you why she blew up so hard? Was there any precluding event to this? Or was it really just a psycho narcissist hit her limit to the stupidest non-issue possible and decided to blow her life up? And OP hits us with the information we already know. She obsessed over fancy furniture in their house on an OCD level and replacing it all with folding chairs just put her over the edge. Yeah, I would love to get like some nice, really dope looking furniture, but it needs to like feel good, right? I feel like I would have to learn how to make cushioning and like sew stuff. You know? Don't you want to like be able to create stuff like that? Like I got an ottoman upstairs that goes in my bedroom, but one of the legs is broken, and like the wood that is technically like screwed and stapled to is broken as well. So I need to be able to know how to cut wood and staple wood together and like sew the fabric back on that's like on top of it. Like these are like skill sets that I don't have. Then it's like, okay, I can watch a YouTube video to do this one thing, but now I need these tools to do all these other things and learn how to do these other things as well. And it's like, it's doing too much, right? Doing a lot, but I want to learn because then I can take care of shit myself. And not only that, it's like, oh, I have this skill set and now I can do these other things that I've thought about, right? If I can be a damn photographer, videographer, director, if I can be gaffing and gripping for lighting and all this. Matter of fact, just so you know, I'm not like tripping. Beep. Do 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 beep. You see? Like I made sure to set this up in a way that I look good to you guys. I'm trying to hit the button over and over again, but it's not working. Now it is. You see? Right. It didn't take a lot of effort, but it took a lot of learning on my part and then setting up everything in certain areas to try and give you a good image. But it's a skill set that I have that is technically one person's job on set when it comes to film. Right. It wouldn't be the director setting up the camera, filming, getting sound, and setting up the lights, right? Making sure that the ratios are good. These are all separate jobs. I'm kind of yapping about myself. That's how I know my medicine kicked in very well. Oh, man. I'm kind of glad that this is like over, but I can't stress enough to everybody. Because you got to have the money to be able to do it. You got to have the health insurance to be able to do it. Get some therapy. Don't think of yourself as crazy. Don't think of anything that people have said negatively, right? Or even neutrally about therapy. Your brain is an organ, and the therapist is a doctor for that. Or they have a master's degree at a minimum to practice. But do your research. Find the best doctor you can and sit down with them. You ain't got to have shit going on in your life, but it will behoove you. You never know. Having an unbiased person who is not a part of your life that you don't know, being able to speak with them about stuff that's going on in your life, you may come to certain conclusions and decisions and epiphanies that you wouldn't be able to get on your own. Especially if it's about someone that you normally speak with about the stuff that goes on within your life. If you can't talk to them about them, then you should be able to talk to somebody else. Yeah. Yeah. Did you know that the last story of the day is a short one? We're over here in r/entitled people with a post by I can't even pronounce that. The Centenarian? The title of this one is co-founder of $8 billion investment company is fired for not returning to the office after a policy he implemented. He said policy does not apply to him. William Nieport, co-founder of Branchilm Investments, co-signed with the other two co-founders a letter sent to all employees saying return to the office 5 days a week or take a severance package. He himself did not return to the office and was fired by his partners. A bylaw of the parent company they set up, Ironman, required that anybody fired for cause was required to sell their stake in the company. He is now suing both the company and ADP, the latter being the HR company that processed his termination. He says it was obvious that such a rule would not apply to an owner, so in his words, he appropriately ignored the email. Another claim was that he was not notified of pending action via fax, hand delivery, courier, or certified mail, which were the only valid methods of notification, even though he acted on the notice and was later complained that he wasn't given as much time as the invalid notification he didn't accept said he would have. What? He now works for a startup with remote work explicitly allowed, at least for him. Yo, top comment by Melina Blue. You just know his partner set him up and it worked. 1.1K upvotes and an award. Firm Camel 7987 says, the article I read was a wild ride. There was a divorce clause. If a partner got a divorce, they lost voting rights and other things. Yo. Alec Mo, to ask the question, I'm curious, this popped into my head immediately. How is that legally enforceable clause in a contract? Schools used to fire teachers who got married, or especially pregnant, but that's been deemed illegal. My own sister got married while still in high school, and they made her quit. Can't have a married woman who's definitely having the sex corrupting the innocent young girls. This was in the 1950s, though. And Barfy McBarfface replies, partners aren't employees and they can be subject to much stricter employment agreements than employees can be. What? This just broke my mind. I can't even figure out how to read that. Employment. Zhang, spelled with a T at the beginning, replies to Barfy McBarface, these clauses are entered into via shareholders agreements and not employment agreements. Quote, your shares aren't really yours unless you follow these rules. Goes for all of those provisions enforcing clawbacks/sales in the divorce isn't stricter or more unenforceable than stuff like forced sales or clawbacks upon death, upon leaving the company before a certain time, upon trying to sell shares to random outsiders, upon acting disloyally versus the company. Notes: employees can't be disloyal to an employer, but without such restrictions, there's nothing to keep a shareholder from owning shares in several companies that do the same thing, which is typically very non-desirable if startups where shareholders are also operative funders, or founders, I should say. This is interesting. There's a lot I'm learning here. Me, I got my own business, but it ain't the shit like that. So Zhang drops another comment in reply to Alamecco that we already read. This is standard boilerplate terms, very common in shareholder agreements to demand prenup or waiver to ensure that in case of divorce, there's not a bunch of dead weight shares being owned by a former spouse. That makes sense. Typically, such clauses are softer than real material breaches as long as the unintended consequences doesn't happen. As in, you don't get kicked out for not having a prenup. And if you do end up losing control over some of your shares in a divorce, those shares and the rest of your holdings can be subject to clawback or forced sales to other shareholders, but typically with none or less of a penalty on share price than when one gets forced sales for other reasons, like fired for cause. Makes perfect sense for private companies, but sure, one can make it sound macabre. Just like another clause that almost always is there is that your shares can be forcibly sold to other shareholders if you die. It's not about punishment. It's about keeping control over who has control. And OP replies to this. The structure here was this. 1. A finance bro founded Ironman Holdings LLC and got 12% ownership, while the guy who put up the rest of the money got the most shares. Ironman had a bylaw that said if you were fired for cause by a company Ironman owned, you had to sell your shares. Common term. If someone makes the news for bad things or does something bad enough for a rich guy to face consequences, they want to sever ties immediately. The guy had in writing this policy and agreed. He was not an employee of Ironman. 2. Ironman owned a subsidiary called Bramshill Investing. The guy, Bill, was not an owner of Bramshill, which was owned entirely by Ironman. Bill was employed by Bramshill. He received a W-2. His health insurance was tax-free. He had daily operational duties and titles of employment, CEO and COO. I'm sorry, CCO. I can't believe I messed that up. Chief Commercial Officer. That's what it is. He reported to both the IRS and SEC that he was an employee. Oh my. 3, acting as employee CEO, he signed and implemented a policy that said all employees, I used 3 fingers for the quote, had to return to work. No carve-outs, no exemptions, no personal employment contracts that let him work employees. That reads weird. 4, as CEO, he approved the contract with ADP that told them to process the termination of any employee who refused to return to work. He was an employee himself. He told ADP he was. He did not have permission to ignore his own policy. ADP processed his termination as soon as his partners confirmed that the policy applied. This dumb motherfucker. 5, he sued ADP for $30 million on the grounds that just because he was an employee of the company where he worked and he was ignoring the policy applied to himself, his ownership of a completely separate and distinct company should give him selective immunity to ignore any rule or policy he didn't like. And they should have ignored the directions he gave them on the grounds that he does what he wants. This stupid motherfucker. 6. In the lawsuit, he stated that he was an employee only for the favorable tax advantages and to not only for the favorable tax advantages and to avoid having to do quarterly filings and prepayments. I cited federal case law in another response. The courts do not let you pick and choose which advantages you receive from the classifications. You are K1 or you are W2. And for better and worse, pick one. And once you pick, that's it. You can't argue one in case and the other in a different case. If he had simply quit/resigned, he could have kept his Ironman stake. He was only subject to the forced sale because he was fired for cause, a rule he thought was a good idea when he signed it. Makes me wonder if he was either relying on corporate counsel and just signed whatever his partner's lawyer put in front of him, or if his good friend, the defense attorney, was representing him when drafting corporate structure and governance. A lawyer acting 100% on his side and good enough that a reasonably wise CEO of an $8 billion investment firm would hire $8 billion would have done a better job. If he wasn't paying at least $500 an hour, the lawyer wasn't good enough for something involving this much money. And that's in the cheap penny pitching side. $500 an hour is crazy. Damn. There's just no jobs like doctors and lawyers are like their early retirement jobs, mostly due to the stress. So you're not doing 30 years in retirement unless you like really like into it, really doing it. But the majority of people, I believe, are doing 15 years and they're out. So, but you can do it if you get paid $500 an hour. That's more than 10 times what I make an hour. Jesus, what is that, like 12, 13 times what I make? Fuck. Ooh. Yeah. Listen, I'll have the post of the original story where this guy pulled it from, the article, in the caption, so you guys can read it at your own time about this guy, Billy William Newport, this dumb motherfucker. Bramshill Investments. Welcome to Ironman. Yo, I have been your host, Mr. Always on 10, and I would like to thank you, beautiful, wonderful, intelligent people, and you poorly educated, need to be trained, idiotic people. Thank you. I want you to have a beautiful day, night, week, month, and year. And I'll see you. Peace. I gotta figure out how to end these shows better. What the fuck am I doing? Boop.